Welcome to another episode of Tag Me In, where the triple threat brain trust of tag go over the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of professional wrestling. I, of course, am the unofficially official Lip Fizzle, joined with none other than the less than stealthy unicorn himself, aka the grizzled young ScooterRay.
That is soon to be recognized as one of the best podcasters in this game.
And of course, he's invisible at the moment, but I'm sure he will drop in when he is ready. Mr. Jaeger Bombastic, so fantastic that next week Shotzi will completely take him over to have him standing at attention to deliver that extension. Mr. Bombastic. Too bad he wasn't here to hear that one, but it's okay.
No, he was not. That was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great one.
Bars. But man, I was surprised this week. I was surprised this week because I didn't watch Raw. But that's no surprise at all.
You need me to fill you in on the
you know what? Yeah, go ahead, because I felt like I didn't miss much, and I felt like
the biggest thing, the Hurt Business broke up. Well, okay.
I heard that.
Cedric and Shelton got kicked out. According to MVP, the Hurt Business is very much still alive with him and Lashley, and they're taking new applications.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Many people say it should be Keith Lee and Naomi. But so Cedric and Shelton are out. They got beat up. He even had a one-on-one match with Cedric. I'm not Cedric, sorry, Shelton. He's supposed to have one with Cedric next week, but we'll see. Bad Bunny and The Miz is official now. With that one, the only reason why it ended up becoming one-on-one, apparently Morrison and Priest are dealing with injuries.
I heard about Priest's injury. I didn't know Morrison was injured though.
Apparently Morrison is dealing with something too. So that's the reason why it turned into a one-on-one match. Okay. What else happened on Asuka and Charlotte? Asuka and Rhea officially signed the contract, and next week I think they're gonna fight Nia and was it later on that night? I think later on that night they fought Nia and Shayna just to fight them. What else happened? Alexa Bliss and some stuff. You know, her little talking.
Yeah.
It wasn't really that much WrestleMania hype, really, going into it. Like nothing about Monday, because you know, Drew and his he wanted somebody to try to step up and take him out. And Ricochet stepped up. Then after that, Ali jumped him, and Ali tried. And then Corbin came and started beating up Drew. So I guess we'll see what Corbin's role in all of this is going to end up being. But New Day had shenanigans with AJ and Almas. It wasn't nothing to really just, I gotta watch Raw. So
wait a minute. I just caught that. Why is Corbin on Raw?
He showed up. I guess they never. I guess when Lashley put the hit out on Drew, he never specifically said it was limited to Raw.
Yeah.
And you know, WWE likes to pull the wild card rule at any moment. So why not Corbin showing up? So yeah. But yeah, Raw wasn't really worth really talking about, honestly.
You know what?
I feel like something got announced. Oh, Sheamus and Riddle are officially on WrestleMania.
Okay.
For the US title.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt on this one, just because it's not the actual go home show. But at the same time, I would still expect some type of build, because only just like the comparison between NXT and then main roster, it's like I've been watching, and there's Jaeger with the run in. What's up?
Papa Wiz and catching kids, guys. What's going on?
Hey,
Why the hell can I hear anything?
You can't. My lips are moving. I don't know if you can hear what I'm saying.
No, I just don't hear it the way it should be heard right now. If that makes sense.
Oh. If you, I usually like to change the audio settings just in case.
Oh,
but
he fixed
yeah,
it
like
completely.
I said, so he just disappeared. But I mean, in general, I mean, we can go ahead and discuss it right now.
Yeah.
The WrestleMania hype, which I told you in pre-production, as a fan of the entertainment, yes, it's WrestleMania. How can you not be excited? How can you not be excited for WrestleMania? But as a wrestling fan, WrestleMania does not excite me because they ruined Bianca and Sasha.
See,
if Bobby and Drew had a better build up, that would be perfect. Edge and Roman got muddled with the whole DB thing, and don't get me wrong, Roman, Edge, and DB in one match seems amazing, but how we got there is like,
yeah. Well, you know what? On that point, because I want to get into this since we can kind of just jump into it now, is the fact that we have both the build for WrestleMania and NXT Stand and Deliver. And just like you said, Scoot, like there are parts of this as far as like as a wrestling fan, the matches seem very intriguing for themselves, but as a WrestleMania build, it's more or less like because when I look at it, and let me just I'll bring it up here just to show is we have obviously on one side, and it's weird that they're flipped because I feel like Stand and Deliver on their side, they actually have it right where it's like showing the from top to bottom the matches that are going to go down, and then for WrestleMania it's like flipped where anyway. So for night one, if we just look at the card here, the first match, at least what it from based on what the card is showing, is that we have Cesaro and Rollins, which from a professional wrestling standpoint, that should be a good match.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, cool. I want to see that. I would rather have seen more build on it than they have done. Not saying they did a bad thing. I just wish more would have been addressed on it. And from that point, and this is just night one of WrestleMania. And then from that, we go to a bathroom break. Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon in the steel cage match. Why is it happening? I don't know.
God only knows.
It's not something that intrigues me. And New Day versus AJ Styles and almost the match after that should intrigue me more. And it does it to an extent. But at the same time, when I look at this, I see just a match that can be on Raw. Like it's not something that's a marquee, like, okay, cool. And that's mainly because almost is instilled in this. And all the hype in the world can't make me a fan of this whole situation. Because I mean, case in point, Great Khali. You know, this could be one of those situations there. Now, will it? I don't know, but it's still a match that I'm looking at. Like, I really think this is meant for AJ Styles to become a Grand Slam champion. Like, to be perfectly honest.
I think so too.
Then from there, Bad Bunny versus The Miz, which I've already shit on this completely.
You know what? Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I have a feeling this could end up being a good match. Because Bad Bunny is kind of showing he's into it.
Okay.
So I think that this could end up potentially being a pretty decent match, especially if Miz can carry it correctly. Like if the Priest and Bunny language barrier can cross over with Miz, I think this could potentially be a pretty solid match. I mean, yes, at the end of the day, it's a celebrity match, but I think it could be pretty solid in the end.
All right, well then tell me this, because obviously I already believe that Bad Bunny is in the ring with the best person to go against, with Miz being a safe worker.
Okay.
But let's take the comparison between Bad Bunny and Pat McAfee.
Okay.
Pat McAfee had me interested based on like his promo work. Now,
Yeah.
from what I've seen on Raw, I think the 2 times that I actually watched it during the time I said I'm not going to watch it, I really haven't seen anything that had me intrigued or interested in what Bad Bunny has done. So,
Well, other than them taking shots at each other, because Bad Bunny did punch the Miz Monday, I think what happened was, honestly, if they didn't throw in the whole Miz winning the title, and then they picked the storyline back up. I think
okay.
if it would have stayed a consistent storyline, and other than the consistent storyline, they made it painfully obvious from jump this was going to happen. Miz and Bad Bunny. You know, it wasn't like it naturally stumbled to this. It was like, no, y'all making it painfully obvious from jump. Miz and Morrison versus Bad Bunny and Priest. Unfortunately, Priest and Morrison are dealing with little nagging injuries, but y'all made it pretty normal from jump. This is happening.
True.
From the Royal Rumble and all of that, you know. So, but I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, their segments other than Orton and Orton, Bray, and Bliss, they've been kind of entertaining.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, I'm gonna try to go through and actually look up like the build to this, see if they have it like separated, just to kind of see everything, because like hearing what you're saying makes sense to me. I'm just like I'm still kind of iffy on it as far as just a WrestleMania match, but
I mean,
now,
let's face it, it's only a WrestleMania match because of Bad Bunny.
True. I do agree.
If it was Priest versus Miz, this would have happened at Fastlane.
Yeah,
I agree. I do agree. I would have rather it be Priest and Morrison, because I think that would have made for a better match. But you know, hey, justice for John Morrison, obviously. But neither here nor there. Next up, of course, for night one, I guess we can say the co-main event would be Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. Now, this in itself would intrigue me had they not had a reverse match previously. I think that was at Night of Champions, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Where Drew was the champion and then Bobby was the challenger. And of course, instead of MVP, it was Lana in Lashley's corner.
Yes.
Or no. MVP was in corner. Lana came out. Yeah.
Lana came out.
Before the official Hurt Business.
Speaking of, to spin off what you're saying, there's strong rumors that they're gonna kill the pre-show match for night one. Because
what's the pre-show match?
They didn't say it.
Okay.
Because this would be the first entrance since they have fans. So most likely night one is either going to open with Sasha and Bianca or Lashley and McIntyre.
Oh, they shouldn't have done that.
Really? Don't do that.
So one of those two matches is going to open the show, because this will be the first entrance with fans. So
they should have opened with Rollins and Cesaro then, because at least you're starting off with a good match.
Otherwise, if not that, if they want entertaining, like if they want an entertaining entrance, I can see New Day being the first people out.
True.
But since they're preaching about it needs to be major, I can see one of those two championship matches that being the first of the night. I mean, hell, don't forget they did what Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins, the first match of the night that won WrestleMania. So
true. I mean, I'm not mad at this match, because I know that they can go and I know they can deliver good matches. I mean, they delivered a good match last year.
Yes,
but it's just from the fact that since we've seen it and there's really nothing more to it, like there's no stipulation to it. I mean, not that there needs to be one, but there's nothing that says, hey, this is going to be different from last year's match. And the reason why last year's match holds so much more to me is because I didn't expect anything going in and they surprised me. Now that I know that they can deliver a good match, it's like, well, all you can do is either do the same thing that you did last time, if not worse. I don't see it being any better.
Yes.
And it sucks to say that, but at the same time, I'm not convinced. And of course, the match that everybody should be waiting for, as for a match aspect, not really from a build aspect, and that's Sasha and Bianca, clearly. And that
Now,
should be. Go ahead.
There's rumor that night one is going to have a women's tag team match to determine the number one contender, and they'll fight Shayna and Nia night two.
Okay.
So that's a rumor that could happen for night one. That it could
Wait,
be a multi-team match, and the winners will fight tomorrow night.
Okay, that pisses me off just a little bit, because during this whole time, now this I have kind of kept up on, as far as the women's tag division, so to speak. And that's mainly because you've had Nia and Shayna along with Reginald integrated in all these championship feuds for the women's titles on both respective brands, yet you haven't built up them in the tag division. It's like, why are they integrated into the women's championship title scene when they have titles of their own that they need to be worrying about and building up this division? Right. Like that's my disconnect from that. It's like, why would you wait and do this now when you've clearly, because I'm pretty sure Naomi and Lana haven't had a championship match yet.
They did.
They did?
I think they had it on Raw.
Okay. So now that they've now that they have had that match, had they even had the time to even try to build any contenders outside, I think, of what I'm drawing a blank. Natalia and
they Tamina,
yeah.
They've been building Natalia and Tamina. I don't know if they had any interactions with the champs, but so you got Natalia and Tamina. You got
Dana Brooke and Mandy.
Dana and Mandy, and then you still got Lana and Naomi. The Riot Squad has not been nowhere to be found, I don't think, in a minute.
Really?
Wait.
If I remember correctly, the Riot Squad hasn't been present since that whole Billy Kay stuff.
Damn, that's messed up.
Justice for Riot Squad.
Justice for Riot Squad, justice for the Iconics, both respectively. Yeah. Peyton Royce and Billy Kay.
Especially them.
Like that's why
ridiculous. Why did they break up the best trolling pair of women that I've ever seen?
No telling, man. And so now let's ridiculous. I'm just a little bit. Night two probably has the most out of it that says pay-per-view build or a pay-per-view card for me. Because I mean you have Riddle and Sheamus, which not much build to it, obviously, because I just now found out that was actually official.
It was like a 2-week story.
Was it?
But
okay.
It happened so simply, you know. It was Riddle doing his backstage antics. He was talking to Sheamus. Sheamus hit him in the stomach with his scooter. Then it happened again.
Who has a scooter again?
Riddle. Right? Yeah, Riddle's been riding around on a scooter.
Okay.
And Sheamus took the scooter and hit Riddle with it, and then they had some more words last week. Well, this past Monday, and then boom, it made it official. So,
nothing that would state that Sheamus is deserving of a U.S. title champion challenge. Okay.
No.
But as far as the participants in the match, I'm all for it because Sheamus, good. Riddle, good. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. Yeah. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, I'm all for because there's no bad match with these two. Now,
are you
the only caveat I have with this that's deterring me away is this Logan Paul rumored shit.
Yes.
What? No.
Logan Paul's supposed to show up tomorrow night on SmackDown.
Yeah,
And they're saying that most likely it could be a launch pad for him to go ahead and show up on WrestleMania.
This is not necessary.
Nope.
I mean, I'm cool with the whole celebrity thing, as far as WrestleMania, but them being interjected into a WrestleMania worthy or WrestleMania caliber match is not necessary. This match needs nothing other than the competitors themselves, and it's a straight up singles match. No gimmick, no nothing. It's just Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
we get it. All right, one second.
Now, the next match, obviously, Big E and Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental Championship should be a match that everybody should be anticipating. But like you said, Scoot, last week, Apollo Crews is lost. What was it? 3 times in a row? Or 4 times in a row? That's even worse.
No. My bad. 3. I think this is their fourth fight.
Okay. So 3 times in a row, Apollo Crews has lost at his chance at gold. He should have actually won at Fastlane, or they should have just omitted this whole match from Fastlane and just taken it to WrestleMania and just continue to build it through on.
I agree.
Because now I'm looking at it like, it's either you let Apollo Crews win or this is a complete waste.
Exactly.
And that's sad because we shouldn't be looking at it like that. Like Big E should honestly have a long reign. But because of this whole shit that's been going on, it's like, well, if Apollo Crews doesn't win, then this is all for nothing. Because what's the point of this being on a WrestleMania if all we're going to do is recap the same thing that's happened the past 3 times? So
I think what's starting to happen is I think they're too busy keep using the glitz and glamour and the luster of WrestleMania. And it's like, hey, we could give y'all whatever the fuck matches we want to give y'all, but due to the fact that it's WrestleMania, you're gonna watch it. And I think and don't get me wrong.
God damn it, they're right.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. If you're looking at the talent on both nights, this should excite anyone.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It should. But
the way it's been coming together, yeesh.
And I'm with you on that because it makes no sense, and that brings me to the next match, which is The Fiend and Randy Orton. And this is what makes me the most mad because this is almost like it's completely sandwiched because when Fiend went to Raw, you started this feud with him and Randy Orton. And I think that you shouldn't have pulled the trigger on that yet. I think you should have waited to start this build maybe a few pay-per-views ago, maybe start this feud at Royal Rumble and then go from there. And then have the Inferno match or whatever, and then go from there up until this point instead of having this long drawn out deal to get it here because at this point I'm kind of drained from this whole thing because I feel like every pay-per-view that has had Randy Orton has had some integration between him and Alexa Bliss, him and The Fiend, or some type of shenanigans that's gone on the supernatural level. And it's to the point to where now we're getting to WrestleMania and it's like, I should be more excited for the crescendo of this whole thing. But I'm like, when is this going to be over? Because I need Fiend to start doing something else. Now they could easily come into this and completely blow everybody out of the water, just like Bray and Cena did last year with the Firefly Funhouse match. But at the same time, I'm still thinking about the fucking the match they had at WrestleMania like years ago. It was the Bray Wyatt compound match or something like that. I forgot what it was, but the weird shit that they fucking had that was ridiculous, where Bray should have went over and kept his fucking title. But
the one at WrestleMania was just a regular 1-on-1. The match before that, yeah.
Oh, you're right. That's what it was, a 1-on-1, but they had the fucking worms and shit, like the fucking screen or what. Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. But yeah. So case in point, both of those matches had fuck shit in it regardless. But
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want that to be the going trend with this match and have it kind of mirror the same things that happened previously. So hopefully they can deliver. I'm praying for it. Asuka and Rhea, all for it. I mean, the only thing I need to say is Rhea needs to go over. Asuka needs to completely refresh.
I have a feeling that's what they're going to end up doing,
It's the right move.
and probably giving Asuka some time off.
Yes, much needed. So that way she can come back and then just hopefully, honestly, she can't go back to NXT. She definitely can't go back to NXT as much as I would want her to, but especially like you said, they have all these new women coming in, which we'll get into that when we talk about NXT because obviously they're working on something. But yeah, Rhea should go over. Okay, I mean, simple as that. And the main event for night 2, which is the main event of all of WrestleMania, the now triple threat of Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan. This match is the only is between this and Belair and Banks is really the only saving grace of WrestleMania is this match here. And that's because Reigns has been completely consistent. Yes. Daniel Bryan with his work, and then Edge, integrating himself into just the overall deal of it. And the reason I say integrating now is because this whole thing pretty much started with Daniel Bryan, with the turn of Jey Uso coming in and then, fucking up Daniel and Daniel doing the job for Jey, and then moving forward into this. And then Edge, of course, integrating by winning the Royal Rumble and then choosing Roman as his opponent. So now going through that whole card, it's even draining to talk about. Like there's a level of excitement that goes up and down, up and down. And then the reason I pulled up the comparison between WrestleMania and Stand and Deliver is because I look at Stand and Deliver, and of course we're going to talk about this when we get into NXT. But the card for NXT on both nights 1 and night 2 not only scream individual takeover, but they scream more WrestleMania worthy matches and build than WrestleMania itself. And they've only did this in, I think, about a month's time.
What, all of NXT?
Huh?
What, all of NXT?
Yeah, the whole Stand and Deliver. It seems like this build was like, because if we look at just going through like the match,
yeah.
Pete Dunne and Kushida was last night. Granted, Dunne was talking about the best technical wrestler, but this actually really got official last night.
Right.
MSK, GYV, and Legado del Fantasma. Granted, GYV and MSK, yeah, that build was going on, but I mean, when they announced that Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch were going to be stripped, then this match got pretty much down. So that's what's still within that month. The North American title picture, that was built within that month. Walter and Ciampa storyline, yeah, but Ciampa fully announced it, I think maybe the last week or the week before. Still within a month. Io Shirai, Raquel Gonzalez. Io came out right after the previous takeover. Within the last month. That's just night 1. If we go to night 2, it's the same thing. Last night, Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart got challenged by the way.
But they were still slowly building.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. Granted, that's been going on from the last, still within a month because that's from the last takeover, and still going in through that. Johnny, that's still part of the North American Championship title picture, so that's still whatever. Jordan Devlin and Santos Escobar, same fucking thing within the last 3 weeks. Finn, Karrion Kross. Now that's the only one that had been built over the course of time.
At some point, Kross was going to build.
But at the same time, that's the main event. So you would expect that to have the longest build. So that in itself, like going through this, how can they do that shit within a month's time, with the exception of the main event? And you have WrestleMania. This is one reason why I'm hoping and I'm praying that NXT Stand and Deliver gets, if not close to or the same amount of ratings or viewership as WrestleMania. I hope they get more. I pray for that, just for the simple fact to kind of just show main roster, y'all doing something wrong. Seriously. Now, the only reason that I kind of blew through that, people, is because we're going to talk about those when we actually get into like our predictions and get into NXT in itself. And I don't want to spoil that right here and there. But let's go ahead, because I know Scoop got some shit to talk about. So let's get into Mr. Scoot with the news.
Let's see. To go ahead and just mix them in.
My bad. I forgot, Scoop. Since we are doing AEW first, we're switching it up. we're going to actually do AEW first. So any AEW news you got?
Really and truly, they asked Edge how he felt about Christian going to AEW. Edge was like, "That's my best friend," and he said, "Whatever the 3 letters he represents, I'm just glad he's happy." True. And that's where he chose to go. That's where he chose to go. So
that's a friend. That's a good friend.
That is a good friend.
Shout out to Adam Copeland.
As far as anything else, as far as AEW was, I think that's really about it that I really saw with AEW. Wasn't too much.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything either as far as on that end. Well,
but we can roll right into it.
Let's roll right into it, because I mean, obviously, nice segue. Speaking of Adam Copeland and Christian Cage and freaking Kazarian was actually the first match of the night. I didn't care too much about this match last week. Yeah, I didn't care too much about this match last week, but I think this was the best way to go for Christian, to put him in the ring with somebody seasoned, obviously, and somebody that he's familiar with, to kind of, shake the ring rust off. Not saying that he hasn't when he came back in WWE for the Royal Rumble, but this match went a lot longer than I expected it to go.
Yes.
I don't know if you caught what I just said.
What'd you say?
This is my favorite match on AEW.
Wait, period?
On AEW that night? Yeah.
Oh, that night. I was about to say, I was like, damn. Yeah, they actually did. I'm surprised by Christian. Christian looked like he hadn't missed a step.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, now I'm actually more intrigued to see how well he does with some of the younger talent now. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, obviously he's gonna do well with Frankie Kazarian only for the fact that they're familiar with each other and they're both seasoned at this point. So,
and that definitely go ahead and show me that SCU is breaking up.
Yeah. Which, oh man, that's I think later on in the show showed that was more of a solidification than anything. Thanks to ye old Scorpio Sky, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that little promo when or that vignette when we come to it. Yeah, but Christian went over. Obviously, I don't know. There was one point where Frankie did that. Yeah, and he that pin that 2 count that almost hit that 3. I was like, oh, for a second, I was like, damn, they really gonna give it. But I was like, oh, okay. So, but he kicked out, and I was like, all right.
What was that? What the hell is that thing called again? It was something that doesn't really fit him.
Some of the Kazarian's move.
Yeah.
The flux capacitor, the top rope.
Yeah, flux capacitor. Thank you. I was like, that's like more appropriate for somebody like Kushida to have something in the name of, but regardless, I was like, damn, that's a move that you really shouldn't kick out of.
Yeah. But I think, if I remember correctly, I think that was his finisher in TNA.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I remember correctly.
Jesus. Move is devastating. Every time I see it, it's like I'm like, oh, right, he has that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
But but Christian definitely went over, as he should have, because he's on a collision course with Omega that he's going to lose. I mean, there's no guessing that. And that's the sad thing about Kenny going after all these belts, is the fact that anybody that goes up against Kenny during this time frame with him trying to be the belt collector is automatically going to lose. Like it's like, yep, you got that L on you already. So
Ooh.
that's what sucks. What?
Ooh. Well, this is just IWC news, but shout out and congrats to Chris Adonis for becoming the new NWA champ.
Yes. Television
Really?
champ. Television
champ.
Yeah.
Good shit.
But oh yeah, formerly known as Chris Masters. Anybody who remembers that name? Who ended up losing to Bobby Lashley, who is now going to WrestleMania. So small world.
Yeah. The Chris Masters, the master of the master lock.
Oh yeah, and now Bobby Lashley's hurt lock.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a great way to get over your debut.
There you go. See.
But anyways, made me think about it. Like, damn, what if Kenny just decides he wants his belt too for no reason?
I know, right?
But I really think he's gonna go after all the world and heavyweight titles.
Yeah,
as he should. Because they're definitely gonna put all the fucking belts on Kenny like that.
Kenneth, yes,
yeah. After that, they had a vignette and promo package. Actually, a vignette and a promo package on Jay Cargill. Which again, ever since she first debuted, she has gotten higher and higher on my list, to where it's like she's just doing more and more, and she's getting better and better and better.
I'm gonna have a thing to say later about Jay Cargill.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but her promo like comparing from when she debuted with that promo that she had with Cody that was just god awful to now, just huge like huge gap, and then just with how she's elevated so far, no pun intended. But yeah, so her and Red Velvet, I'm glad they have their feud going, because that's a rivalry that I actually do enjoy, and I'm glad that they're letting it marinate and not just having them go head on every time. They've had that one match, which wasn't a singles match, and then now they just have them beefing. So I'm like, cool. I'm cool with this. Like, this perfect. Keep it going like this. But of course, that kind of just factored right in. Ironically enough, everything's getting segued, because Red Velvet was integrated into this match, rather the post-match segment of the next match, which was the exhibition match between Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall. Now, we obviously kind of knew which way this was going to go. Yes. Nice little friendly exhibition match between Cody and QT Marshall, where we kind of already seen that QT Marshall was going to end up showing his true colors, obviously.
It drug on just a little too long, but
it did. I will say this was more of a surprise at the end, because I did not expect him to have his whole new faction, which now this is where I have to take from Jim Cornette. I'm at the point now where this shit is getting ridiculous.
Okay, no, I know what you're about to say. I should have saved it, but somebody listed online all of AEW's factions.
Really?
And they listed it right after QT's crew. That's what they called them. So if we had to just try to remember them all off memory, Pinnacle, Inner Circle, QT and his stable. You still got the Nightmare Family. You still got Death Triangle. You still have Dark Order.
Yes.
Jurassic Express.
Best Friends.
Who else? Who will make 9? Matt Hardy's stable.
Matt Hardy's, yeah.
10 would be it was like 12 different factions on that list.
Oh, you gotta remember, what are they from? It's just Serpentico and Luther.
I don't think they count
Chaos Project. Yeah, because that's more of a tag team.
I guess I guess 10 would be Moxley, Omega and the Good Brothers, because they technically kind of count.
Do they count as the Elite or the Bullet Club, or what do they count?
That's a good question.
But yeah, like, it's so many factions. Like, yeesh.
There are a lot.
Oh, and Team Taz.
Team Taz. That's another one. Team Taz. And it's like whoo boy.
I'm cool with them having factions, but this at the same time, it's just too much at one time. Like I get it because I mean, if you look at New Japan has factions, but those factions I'm pretty sure have been built up over time and they have longevity. They have time in. Like you have all these factions now, and it's like they're just popping up like all over the fucking place. Now, if we look at it, like the only factions and / stables that I think actually should be legitimate, Inner Circle, just because I think that was like the very first faction outside of the Elite that was formed in AEW. Pinnacle, because obviously there's like Nightmare Family shouldn't even be a thing. Like that's just hey, we all train together. Here's we just that's it. I don't agree with that.
Dark Order should definitely be a faction.
Dark Order should be a faction. Absolutely. Team Taz should be a faction because they built organically. Because it started Taz trying to get Darby, then went and got Brian Cage, then Ricky Starks, then from there Powerhouse Hobbs, Hook, and then bam, perfect. These really should be your only real stables. Like, to be perfectly honest, Matt Hardy, I can give him the asterisk based on just the character that he's playing. But other than that, that's still a technicality. That's not really. QT Marshall, I will say this. His faction that he's put together does look good. They do look good. But that's about it.
This was the question. I was going to say questions, but this was the thing. Jade should join his faction.
Jade?
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that.
QT's?
Yeah. I can see that.
Jade should join QT's faction.
It'll like I like it. It'll just take some getting used to, like just to see the overall. But yeah. Where does that put Shaq though?
I mean, Shaq could be there like how Ty Conte is with Anna Jay. Shaq could just show up whenever he needs to show up.
True that.
Like how Dark Order still supports Ty, even though she technically didn't join them yet. But yeah,
I do like that about Dark Order. Which I mean, you know what, we'll get into that when we get there. But
now the one thing I thought was funny about this whole segment was those three men beating the whole damn Nightmare Family up. I thought that was like, fam, it's like 20 people out there.
Yeah, but you know what? And that's the thing about it too, is that you had this beatdown happen, and it clearly, and this is where, because Cornette said the same thing about the Pinnacle being formed, and then other like heel turns and shit like that. This almost mirrored the same beatdown that the Pinnacle did on Inner Circle.
Damn near.
And it almost kind of dilutes it because it, ironically enough, it's normally the thing that happens after the thing that initially started takes the weight away from the initial thing that happened. But in this sense, this just looked like a watered down copy of what Pinnacle did, mainly because of the players that you have in the Pinnacle are so much on a higher totem pole than QT Marshall and the three no-name guys. Because I'm pretty sure these guys are all from. Wait, were these guys from the Nightmare Family previously?
Dark and Nightmare. Yeah, they were all technically recent members of of Nightmare Family.
Okay, so now you've got a Nightmare Family civil war going on, basically.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I know Anthony Gogo, Aaron Solo, and Nick Camarado. I don't think they officially got the title like Lee Johnson did, but I think they were basically affiliates.
Okay.
I think that was the point, that they were all affiliated.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But Anthony Ogogo, I've never seen in ring once. I've always heard him on commentary. Unless he debuted recently, I had never caught him in the ring.
Yeah.
So when he showed up, that caught me completely by surprise.
Wait, speaking of which, I know this is off the cuff. Where the fuck is Pineapple Pete?
I know, right?
I mean, fucking Jericho said he hated that guy. I guess he's gone.
I know. He got so much heat thanks to Jericho. I'm like, yo, I'm like this Pineapple Pete guy. Now he's just gone.
Yeah.
I swear I caught him at another promotion. It may well have been. No, I think he was like when he was going back and forth, like when he was on Dark. I think then he was working for more than one promotion. I can't remember which one it is now.
Yeah.
So maybe he went back to them.
Interesting.
Not sure.
Well, obviously, QT was gonna hit Cody with the chair, and Red Velvet, who we talked about earlier, came out and showed her loyalty to the Nightmare family.
Do we see personally QT as a viable threat?
Not really, but the people that he has surrounded himself with can. Only problem is that I don't see it really mattering.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly just see this being something that's where I guess they take over Elevation or Dark, which, by the way, I'm going to have to start watching Elevation and Dark more religiously because, and I'm glad they do this because they're actually showing that, hey, you need to start watching these other shows.
Because I'll let y'all catch me up on that. I watch too much wrestling as is.
I would rather watch Dark and Elevation rather than watch the main roster. So
I was gonna say watch Elevation instead of Raw.
You know what? Okay, I'm glad we said this because speaking of, I think the Monday after WrestleMania might be the last Raw I might truly catch for a while. I think I'm gonna try to take a break with Raw, especially with spoiler alert, especially with NXT moving to Tuesdays. I think Raw might take a back seat for a while. After, like I said, I might watch that Monday after WrestleMania Raw, but after that, it might take a break.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It really depends on what WWE does moving forward because I really don't with this and the whole Peacock shit. I'm just like, yo, something bad is happening to the main roster.
Have they removed all the Attitude Era stuff?
We'll speak on that when we talk about before we talk about NXT because there's a lot of stuff with
some more of his news. Okay. Moxley. Go ahead.
I think to wrap this part up, I think it's one of those means to an end thing with this. Like I can see them run, like you said, I can see them running Dark and maybe Elevation, but as far as the main show,
I do like the way that they like they'll show clips and they'll do promos like with Team Taz. Which matter of fact, I'll talk about it now because it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
With Team Taz, they've obviously they have that inner turmoil between Cage and the rest of Team Taz. And with them talking about the match they had on Dark, which is really good, they still have their higher mid to main event players still having matches on, Dark and Elevation and so on and so forth. And them still having promos on Dynamite that alludes to what happened previously, and then still showing, certain clips that happen on the respective shows. I like that because that's more of them being like, you know what? Hey, this happened here. You missed this. Make sure you don't miss it next week. I like that because that's something that WWE should be doing with NXT, but they don't. But I digress. I like it. And me watching it last night convinced me that, I need to start watching at least at the bare minimum, start watching Dark more religiously and maybe pepper in Elevation here and there. But of course, one of the guys best with the mic, Scoots, not so favorite in-ring guy, but very respectable to the mic guy, Mr. Jon Moxley was was very pissed off, Jon Moxley, because a lot of things pissed him off last night, and he made it very known because he listed everything that pissed him off last night. Pissed him off that the Bucks didn't choose a side. Pissed him off that
he owed them one.
Yeah.
He pissed that he still got to fight Kenny and them.
Yep.
He pissed that he got to fight Cesar Bononi, and that if AEW wants to keep their investment, I'ma kill him. Oh well, I guess Cesar Bononi and his little stable, I guess, might be a stable too.
Yeah, with Nemeth, him, Nemeth, and
Drake.
Yeah, whatever his
first name is. Wasn't Bononi with Peter Avalon?
He was, but
it was weird because Nemeth was with Avalon, and then Bononi was with Avalon. But now you got Avalon and Nemeth. Well, not Avalon. You got Bononi and Avalon. Shit, Bononi and Nemeth with Drake.
With J.D. Drake, yeah.
But no Avalon.
No Avalon.
It's weird. All right, Pretty Peter.
Pretty Peter is just all of his leftovers go and make teams and shit, apparently.
So I had slight issues personally with this match. And this is the one thing AEW, I guess, upsets me when they do stuff like this. I hate when you watch matches like this because, yes, we clearly knew Moxley was going to beat Bononi.
True.
The issue I have personally, I know AEW might think this is a great showcase for Bononi.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it could be, but in my eyes, it's just like, Moxley, if you don't go in there and beat that dude and go about your business, like, why are you taking so long to beat Cesar Bononi?
I said the same thing because
like, you don't go in there, drop that dude and go about your business and call it a day. Because I said, I mean, yes, they might look at it as, oh no, we're showcasing Cesar. I don't look at it that way.
I don't give two rats asses about Cesar Bononi right now. I'm sorry. Like, Cesar Bononi, you got a great build. You look like you're a porn star, but good for you, man. but dude, this isn't about you right now.
Exactly.
Mox needs to go be a dad before I give a shit. I'm sorry.
Like that match, like this match lasted way too long for me.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I have no problem with Cesar Bononi. I've talked about before. I believe that AEW still needs a big guy. And I think he could be that big guy. And I think this is just him paying his dues. I think he's losing way more than necessary. But at the same time, you know, I have a feeling that they're going to do right by him. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, this definitely went on way too long.
Right by him though.
Letting him see what the thing is they're because what he lost to Cody, lost to Moxley. I don't know who else he lost to, but he's losing to names that you would expect him to lose to.
Okay.
So it makes sense in that aspect because I think it was the same thing with Hobbs. Hobbs was going through and he was kicking ass on Dark, but then he was on Dynamite losing to Darby and he lost to somebody else. But he was losing to people that actually already had established a name. So I think they're doing the same thing with Bononi, but at least like if you compare Bononi and Nemeth to the matches that they both had with Moxley, Nemeth lost in like seconds to Mox.
Exactly.
And Nemeth lost, I think he lost in a couple minutes to Cody. So yeah, I just hope that they continue this trend where it's like, okay, you know what? Mox is the last person you need to lose to. Go and wreck shop on these lower mid card people and then build your name up from there. But yeah, this is the obvious squash match that we all knew what was going to happen.
It was just so long.
Red Velvet got interviewed backstage and then she got attacked by Jade. And Scoot, you had something to say about this, I'm sure.
No. It was, I mean, I didn't mind. Like I said, my thing with Jade was I think she should just join QT's stable. But I mean, I hope they don't personally turn this into a Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker situation where they keep jumping each other and fighting each other and don't finally fight till like 3 months later. Like, I don't want this to happen again.
Yeah, that definitely is something that is not necessary. Mainly because it's just that, like, the build that they're doing now, I like, because they haven't let them touch.
Yeah.
Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, they had them in some nonsensical matches, but eventually they kind of capped it off for the time being with an unsanctioned match, which we might as well get into it now.
No. I want to discuss the most unnecessary thing of the night right quick.
What's that?
All of Wednesday, the most unnecessary thing, and for some reason, it pissed me off so much that I just happened to remember. I don't know when it fell in the show, and I don't care. If one of y'all two gentlemen, let me point whatever direction.
Yeah.
Please help me care. Or please tell me why I should care about Jurassic Express versus Bear Country.
You shouldn't. This in itself.
And they even gave them the Godzilla and King Kong treatment.
That's what it was for. This was really just to find a way to promote Godzilla versus Kong. That's really all it was.
I was sitting there like,
to be perfectly honest,
why the fuck should I care about this match?
Because
the way they got a promo and everything.
It's just pushing King Kong versus Godzilla and Jurassic Express.
Yeah, and I like, and this is what I hate, because justice for Jurassic Express, to be honest, because
no justice for Jungle Boy. I told y'all how I feel. Justice for Jungle Boy.
I know how you feel. I mean, I'm gonna say justice for Jurassic Express, mainly because, like, I feel like they should have. It's well overdue. They should have been tag champs. At least for a certain time. Yeah. And I just feel that with the introduction of FTR into this, it kind of threw things out of whack. And now that the Bucks have the titles right now, a lot has kind of just it's made everything unpredictable. So we don't know where everything is going. But I feel that the because most people would say that it's because of Paige and Omega. I don't think that. I think that they actually helped it way more because of how competitive they were and the way that they lost. Yeah. But because FTR was introduced and they ended up winning the titles, still not bad. But I think when they went to the Bucks, that may have been the problem. And that's not to say because the Bucks are bad. They started
mulling the Bucks with all these other storylines.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I think the best thing for them to truly do is to get the belts off the Bucks, so that way the division can, quote unquote, continue. Because all the Bucks are gonna, because the thing is, what's happening with the Bucks is, like, when the Bucks challenged Proud and Powerful, it was like, okay, we knew the Bucks were gonna keep the belt. When the Bucks fought Jericho and MJF, we were all betting, and we all would have lost that damn thing. I think we all went for Jericho and MJF. But if Death Triangle loses to the Bucks, then it's like, then what? You know, are y'all setting it up for the Good Brothers to take it? Like,
I completely forgot that Phoenix and Pac are the number one contenders for the titles. Wait, is Pac injured?
Yes, they said it last week.
All right.
That's the reason why they got the Laredo Kid.
Yeah, I was a little confused. I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, because that completely skipped my mind. So, all right, so now they're gonna hold off for that. So I don't think the titles are gonna be integrated in any way, shape, or form right now.
If the Laredo Kid, go ahead. Yeah.
You said what?
How long is Pac injured for again?
They didn't say. They just said he was dealing with injury.
Amazing.
But if Laredo Kid joins them, are they still Death Triangle?
I don't think so, because it seems, you know what? Because this was the
The next match.
This was the next match. So we'll get into the whole Britt Baker promo after this. But yeah, that next match was the
trios.
Oh no, sorry. No, it wasn't. The next segment was the Pinnacle backstage.
Now, I will say this. When I saw this and I accidentally got spoiled on the internet of what happened, but watching it didn't spoil too much. And I will say this. I wish this segment would have happened next week.
Same. Because
because the Pinnacle still hadn't established.
It was entirely too soon.
It was entirely too soon.
I'm not even pulling a punch on this. This was like way too soon. And I feel like this is a constant theme where when we ever want anything in this damn show, they always do it way too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. That you're right. You are absolutely right. Nothing really, I mean, there's things that get a chance to marinate, but the things that kind of matter, i.e. Omega and Moxley, Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, which they actually had a saving grace with the unsanctioned match. So I'll give them that. The women's tournament for the title, or for the number one contendership for the title, blew that shit way too quick. FTR and Bucks, their first match, I think that should have marinated a little bit longer.
Our main event should have happened 2 weeks ago.
Okay, that's the only thing.
You know what? Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna rant about that.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I am too, because it's something that I talked about.
I was just thinking about it. Is there anything they sat too long on? And it's like, yep, definitely the main event.
Because the thing was that personally, we knew MJF was top guy, and no pun intended. FTR hasn't reestablished themselves as a top tag team.
That's true.
Unless Shawn Spears has been killing it on Elevation and Dark recently, he hasn't really been seen as a dominant force.
It's only the commentators that save Spears' ass.
Yeah, so I felt Pinnacle should have been established maybe a week or two more to establish that the Pinnacle was the top dogs now in AEW or whatever. But for them to do what they did, which, you know, MJF said he had a gift for the Pinnacle, which was tailor suits. And, you know, he was like, okay, hey, that wasn't good enough. What he said? New bathrooms or
well,
yeah.
To piggyback off what y'all said with that, which with Shawn Spears, just as an example, for that is I give Shawn Spears a pass because I look at Shawn Spears akin to, let's say, the Pinnacle comparison to like the Hart Foundation with Brian Pillman. You had the Hart Foundation who had all these wrestlers, all just a prestige. You had Brian Pillman, who was like this unhinged guy. Now, if you take that into like a mob mentality with the suits and everything, you have the mob, and you have guys that have certain stature and everything like that, and you have that one guy who's always unhinged. I look at Shawn Spears as that guy because now they're more focused on the fact of, you know, him being the chairman, and now he's more so coming out with the chair now, and that being like his thing. So I'm like, you know what? I look at him like that, like not necessarily on that level with like MJF and FTR, but yeah, like that dark horse that's like, you know what? Hey, you need something done, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it dirty. Okay. So could he win the title? TNT title? Absolutely. But that's about as far as it will go.
I don't see it no time soon though.
No, absolutely not.
And see, and that's the shitty part. That's the shitty part.
That is.
So the thing is, okay, so the issue, so let's fast forward a little bit. MJF opens the door, Inner Circle is there. I love MJF was like, nope. And then he was like, hey guys, we got to go. And then he tried to open up the other door. It was Hager.
Jake Hager, yep.
And then the Pinnacle gets systematically taken out.
Yeah.
They get all beaten up, level of revenge. Jericho, this is my dressing room, bitch. pour a little bit of the bubbly on them, kick them out. They re-put their names back on the dressing room. The issue I have with this personally, the Inner Circle seems like it's going to be a faction maybe forever.
Yeah.
I don't see the Pinnacle staying a faction for the rest of this year.
Wow.
No, I don't see the Pinnacle making it out of 2021.
Oh shit. I did not expect that. But damn. Huh.
If they do, call me. I'll be wrong. Like it will be documented here.
You're right about
2021. But
you're right about Inner Circle.
Yes.
Just because of like that whole, like they really have that whole family faction aspect within it, because they've built that up even like throughout their run, with them being heels also, which is crazy. Them doing like the whole like the TikTok stuff and the whole like we're gonna do like the multi video calls where we're doing shit during like the pandemic and everything.
And
like,
then, I mean, and not to cut you off, but no, I'm pretty sure even Jaeger can appreciate this. If they really wanted to, the Inner Circle can be AEW's Bullet Club.
Yeah. Wait, just them or like adding more people?
They could add more people, or if Jericho decides to leave, they could kick Jericho out the group like they do with other Bullet Club leaders, and somebody else can assume leadership. Like Inner Circle can stay Inner Circle. They can just be interchanging parts. Like they don't have to stay those 5 men. That name of Inner Circle can always stay, just like Bullet Club. Bullet Club, yes, its members are its members, but at the end of the day, it's the name, it's the family. So AEW's Bullet Club could be Inner Circle. They could just always just have maybe interchanging parts here and there.
Okay. Yeah. Hi.
So, I mean, I'm down with that. I'm just trying to figure out, because now with
to sit right here
with MJF being not integrated into Inner Circle anymore and them going completely the left direction with this, now it's more like I don't see them kicking anybody out of Inner Circle. I see like maybe like somebody leaving and then somebody stepping up.
Like I said, and they can always like for instance, if something happens to where Santana and Ortiz contract runs out, Jericho can get a new tag team.
Yeah.
And just quote unquote invite them into the Inner Circle. Hell, if Jericho's like, you know what, I think I might want to finish up my career in WWE. Okay, that's cool. We can get another leader.
Yeah.
I mean, Prince Devitt left to become Finn Balor and stepped AJ Styles. AJ Styles left and stepped Kenny O. Kenny O left and stepped Switchblade. So, I mean,
you know what? The Generation X. Shawn Michaels after WrestleMania with Stone Cold left.
Triple H
granted,
took it over.
Triple H, his promo kind of cut Shawn Michaels a little bit, but at the end of the day, Shawn Michaels still had open door to come back to the Generation X. So, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You're right. That actually makes more sense to me. So,
like I said, and the reason why I mainly don't see the Inner Circle staying, the Pinnacle being a group because on their own, they can be dominant situations. Like Shawn Spears on his, like if Shawn Spears keeps Tully, he can be a force on his own. FTR, we know, can be a force on their own. Wardlow is the only one that's kind of still unproven in all of this.
Yeah.
Because we know MJF can be a force on his own.
True. So do you see them? Okay, let's take your theory and then just say that they don't make it out of 2021, or they don't make it to 2022 as a faction. Do they have a chance of winning all the titles in AEW this year?
If they win the blood and guts match, but no.
Say they can win the blood and guts match, but no titles.
Maybe, and it's a strong maybe. Maybe tag titles.
I can see
Maybe.
that.
I can see
And
that.
since Darby doesn't have a clear path yet, maybe Spears can kind of wiggle his way on in and possibly steal him one.
Yeah.
But I don't see. I know it's April, but I do not see MJF winning the world title this year, unless some storyline wise go crazy left.
I see Darby losing that title after about 3 to 4 major defenses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know what he does with that title up until that point, because I don't see him holding it for any longer than maybe 3 to 5 months at best. And that sucks to say about Darby, but I think that they have other plans for other people, because they could easily go with Hangman. Because I mean, I said this last week or the week before, with Hangman and Scorpio Sky being the first ever AEW Grand Slam champion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only between Hangman and Scorpio, mainly because of what they've done so far and the potential that they have. Hangman obviously having the more potential out of the two because of the storyline and the progression that's gone on with him winning the tag titles, with him being on his own, with honestly him going for the TNT title would be the necessary progression. If it's a face to beat Darby, it's going to be Hangman. If it's going to be a heel, it's got to be between Scorpio and Spears.
And you know, honestly, I know we kind of spinning it off a little bit. I kind of hate that this Hangman Omega and Swan stuff is taking so long to get to where it's going to get to,
because we know what's going to happen.
Because it's kind of making them kind of flounder with Kenny a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of making them flounder with Kenny, because we know Kenny is supposed to have this legendary match. Well, not legendary. What's the word I'm looking for? This world implication of a match with, you know, Winner being champions of both.
Oh shit! It is a title for title match.
It's title for title. So the problem is they making Kenny flounder until this happens. Which, why the fuck do they not mention this on Dynamite at all? That Kenny
that's weird. Because they spend time, because they did it last night where they were talking. They start talking about Tanahashi, and they said something else about somebody from New Japan, but it's like you're talking about this just passively in matches here and there, but yet you have stuff that's going on in Impact. You have a partnership with Impact, yet you're not doing anything to promote it. And yet you have Impact, and granted, I haven't watched Impact like that, but at least I know about the little infomercials they put for Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
To gear towards Dynamite. It's like it should be a quid pro quo. Because
you know what?
At this point, go ahead.
They actually do the reverse if you think about it, because look at how they talk about the Impact wrestlers that they have, which I mean primarily are Gallows and Anderson, but I mean they shit on them.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
I mean they talk about how like they plug them in like how great of a talent they are, this and that, but they still are like, oh, these guys from this other, they don't even work here, blah blah blah. Like you're getting uppity against a program that's honestly a veteran compared to you. You should at least be like, hey, these guys are some assholes, but here's here's all the stuff that they've done. And I mean, this program's endured the times. You can do spins like that. You're supposed to be propping each other up, especially in a partnership like this. I don't know.
It makes no sense to me, because you would think they would want to.
They're fumbling with it. Yeah.
Oh, but final thoughts before because I know we kind of spun off to the next stage, but final thoughts with the Pinnacle
the beatdown, the whole segment was shot beautifully. Like I love that whole backstage brawl, like the way they did that. And of course, the good thing about it is that the little nugget they put in there is that the way that it was shot, you could see the feuds that was going forward. Because I mean, honestly, with the way the faction set up, you clearly have Warlord Jake Hager, which was being built up even before this. You have Sammy Guevara and Sean Spears. That's going to be your match going forward. The tag team between FTR and Pride and Powerful, and then you have Jericho and MJF. Obviously, now the way that you do this, AEW, which I'm pretty sure you already got this plan because you tricked me already. You messed up my fantasy booking. But the way you do this is you don't have that full on faction versus faction match. That's your crescendo. You do the individual, and then you move forward because you get more of a longevity out of it, and you get more legs in this whole feud, and you don't allow it to kind of you don't squeeze all the juice out of it before it's done. And that's good. That's the way that you do that. So I don't know when they're going to do when Blood and Guts normally happens, but if they do the individual matches before then leading up to it, then that would make more sense. But
if you really want to go slow build, then you could do like one every week, or
I'm pretty sure that's probably how they're going to do it, like a one every week thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The kids keep it fresh.
This is why they would benefit from having a GM in the show, because then because then you could be like, exactly, they don't have anybody like that. They don't have an authority figure. Like the Bucks are the authority, but they're not the authority.
They talk about Tony Khan here and there, but he's not an on-screen presence outside of when he showed up.
One or two appearances, he doesn't like. If whatever he says goes, he's kind of like a Vince McMahon in that case, but he has like 2% of the screen time so far. But yeah, this is where they would benefit from, because then a GM could be like, "Look, y'all are gonna have a match or two matches like on this night, then you have another match on this night, like, and it'll all culminate like on the third week, like when it's really like your team versus your team, you know."
Because
so you make it like a best out of like those four. Like if you could win out of the four, then then they won their feud or whatever. But if they tied it, then they go to that fifth match. Easy.
True. See, this is the way I can see a fantasy book, because you kind of just hinted at it. Of course, Guevara and Spears has to have a winner. Yeah. FTR and Pride and Powerful has to have a winner.
Yes.
And then
Hager and
Wardlow. But that's three matches. They could do Jericho and MJF. And then of course they could possibly make it a 2-on-2 where even, and to break the tie, Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like that. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
The problem is, do they want Blood and Guts to be on the next pay-per-view? or you know what? Because
I don't know. The last time they tried to do a Blood and Guts, they kind of had a whole pandemic happen.
Was there Blood and Guts on a pay-per-view?
No, it never happened.
There was supposed to be. They were supposed to be, and then
that was that stadium match. That's what I'm thinking about. That stadium match.
Yeah.
Was that on the pay-per-view?
Yes, that was on the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Stadium Stampede.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So then So when's their next pay-per-view? Because that's what
I think it's gonna be like June or July.
I think it's June.
Let's see. Okay, so let's see. We had that's weird. Okay, so next up would be Double or Nothing. And that's in May.
Oh, May? Huh.
Yeah, May 30th.
All right.
Okay. So yeah. So if we got that, I mean, that would technically, if you want to build it for that long, that could work. Because we're in April. It's about 2 months. Yeah. About 2 months.
Yeah.
You can build that up over the time.
This is where they'll benefit from a GM, or maybe Tony Khan has to do it. Tony Khan has to go out there and do his best Regal impression. You know, instead of saying War Games, it would be Blood and Guts. Blood and Guts.
I don't think I can say this any other way, but blood and guts.
Nine
but
days
yeah,
from tonight. 9 days from tonight.
outside of that being shot well and that kind of building up, Inner Circle took back their dressing room, so they got that back, even though they kind of wrecked it a little bit.
Yes.
They look good in this. They look hella strong. So shout out to Inner Circle. You fooled me, and y'all back solidarity. Any fantasy booking I had, I was fucked. You got me. Kudos. You're not as predictable as I assumed. So what the fuck ever. Next up was Britt Baker's promo, which her and Reba were in the back, and they were expecting Tony Schiavone to do the interview, but she tried to text Schiavone and he didn't answer, so she said whatever. And Reba, not Rebel, conducted the interview, and she basically talked about and I called this a few weeks ago when Britt Baker lost to Thunder Rosa. I said that she was going to use this as, hey, you won that match, but it doesn't count. So she alluded to Elevation and saying that Thunder Rosa can go to Elevation and get her wins up. And from there, so she's keeping that feud alive, but she's still putting her name out there to be next up for a women's title match. She didn't say it, but she alluded to it. You could tell. And I think that's the right way to go. I think she should be next up, and I think she should be the one to win that, because then that would give Thunder Rosa a chance to actually get an official win over Britt Baker and then win the AEW Women's Championship.
Yeah.
But Britt Baker with the good promo, it's not surprising. It's a good way to keep her in the ice without putting her in a match every fucking week. So kudos on that. Thunder Rosa was not on this episode. Surprising. Thunder Rosa hasn't had a promo since that match.
She had a promo on Dark Elevation.
Okay, gotcha.
She had a match against Alex Gracia, and guys, I gotta say, Alex Gracia though.
Hey, that's a student of Booker T's.
Is she?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the thing. Scalper doesn't always cover those things.
He's from reality wrestling.
Wait, I think I know her. Hold on.
I like that. Go on.
Hold on.
He whips out his phone. I was like, yeah, her phone number's around here somewhere.
But yeah, that's a graduate of Roe.
Huh. The more you know.
Yeah. We'll talk offline. We'll talk offline.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
But yeah, so then she's on AEW. Well, on AEW now.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's been there for a little bit. On the darks.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
What was the next match after the Britt Baker?
That was actually the 6-man between Lucha Bros, Laredo Kid versus Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. But before that, there was a little promo right before this match. Well, not really promo, but a backstage segment between the Young Bucks and Mr. Don Callis.
That scumbag, Mr. Callis.
Yeah, he interrupted their interview, and he wanted to talk to Matt Jackson alone. And as he did, he basically reiterated what Kenny was talking about last week, and basically how he chose the Bucks over everything else, and that's loyalty and, et cetera, and how they've lost their way and they need to get out of their own asses, so to speak, for lack of a better term. And I forgot, did Matt go to choke him or hit him or something like that? Something happened, or did he slap him?
Don Callis slapped these.
Yeah, Callis slapped Matt.
Okay, Don Callis slapped Matt.
Just went bam.
Yeah.
And Matt was about to retaliate in a heavy way, and then he didn't. He just put his hand on him.
Which there technically was a reason for that, but we'll let that be
Callis
known
is-
later on.
Callis is then talking to Matt, going like, "Wow, you really have changed pretty much that
I
whole
would hit
tone."
Callis for real.
Huh?
I would hit Callis for real.
I would stiff as fuck hit Callis.
I mean, like I told you, he's equivalent to my Malcolm Bivens. So my irritation of him would have made me hit him for real.
I mean, at least Callis isn't like popping up in like nurses' offices, like while you're getting checked out by medical.
Reading a random newspaper. Yeah.
That is true too, but I would have slugged Callis for real. Fuck that.
This match in itself, I wasn't expecting much of. I mean,
you know what? I'm not gonna say I didn't care for it.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't care it was happening.
Yeah, and that was the thing. It's mainly because of the predictability, because I kind of knew where this was going. Like, I really didn't see Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid getting a surprise win over Omega and the Good Brothers, mainly because of the feud that they already have, which is, we'll get into that with NXT, because I'll talk about that more, that whole setup that they have going on. But this is one of the reasons why, is these predictable matches where, yeah, it's cool, you have the right people in it, but I would rather you have set up something different rather than put the Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid into this whole situation, because I feel like they should have been more feeding into their dominance moving forward, because you have Rey Fenix and Pac in a position where it's like, okay, you guys are number one contenders. Let's continue to make you look strong until Pac gets back, so that way you can have this match with the Young Bucks. But now they're just kind of integrated into this whole storyline, or rather put in the middle of the storyline between Bucks and Moxley and Omega and the Good Brothers. And it's just there. Mm-hmm. So it's hard for me to really care about it. And I hate that that's the case, because of the fact that if you look at this match on paper, it's a good fucking match.
It is.
It's a good fucking match. And just to be honest, WWE, this right here, this is what a Lucha House Party really is. Not what you got going on over there.
Hey. Let's just leave Lindsay and Grand Metalik alone. You know, let's just let them be.
Fair enough.
It is what it is. They can't change it. They can't go in the past. Just let it be.
I'm just saying. I mean, you look at that setup. When you look at that trio, and you insert them into WWE, it's like that's a dominant force right there.
We're not gonna disparage other talents like that. Just let those guys be. They tried. Okay, they tried. Lindsay, Kalisto, Metalik, they tried.
You're right.
I mean, even when they took Kalisto out of it, they tried. Just let the LHD be.
I will say this though: there's nobody that can run the top ropes like Rey Fenix.
Holy crap, man!
That is beautiful. Anytime he does that,
it is effortless the way that he does that.
Right.
I don't know how, but I'm glad. I
love that they didn't even. I'm loving that they didn't even catch him like climbing
up. Yes.
Yeah. Like out of nowhere. I'm just like, oh, all right. Yeah, he
because it was seamless when Laredo Kid because he hit Omega to the ropes. That's what it was. He hit Omega to the ropes, and all of a sudden, within a split second, Phoenix just comes across and just punts Kenny. I feel like I put in my damn eye, fucking shit in my eye. Sorry, people. It's like something's like right there. I don't know if it's a lash or whatever, but it's like bugging the fuck out of me. Anyway, Kenny hits the one-winged angel on, was it Laredo Kid, I believe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, which sucks because Laredo Kid took the fall last week. So it's almost like he's just there to take the fucking fall.
Well, remember they brought up the fact that Kenny defended the title against Laredo Kid, and he beat Laredo Kid, of course.
So maybe they're just driving that home.
Yeah. Now,
be.
the one thing I did like, of course, I mean, is hearing Malcolm Bivens on commentary. And he said, talking about what Kenny is doing has never been seen before, and this, that, and the third. So I understand, we can rewrite history anytime we want, and depending on how the public feels about the man now. But we ain't gonna just forget that Austin Aries was the belt collector like 3 years ago.
That's true.
Like we
That's
ain't gonna just, Austin Aries did the same thing after he left WWE. So I understand Kenny's doing it is probably more major, I guess, but
I don't know, but nobody and look, I don't even know how real this is because I'm just going off of the images that I saw when I was a kid / teenager growing up when they had the debut of Ultimo Dragon in WCW.
Oh yeah, he had all those titles.
Those titles. That's the belt collector to me.
Exactly, I agree.
So I you can collect belts here and there, but if your image ain't looking like Ultimo's Dragon, look, I don't even care what titles Ultimo Dragon had right there. But
he just had mad titles.
He just had period. So ain't nobody topping that. Nobody. And the fact that Scoot knew exactly what I was talking about solidifies.
That was an image that forever stayed. That's an image that lives rent free in this brain of mine.
That's
Ultimo
what made
Dragon
me
with all those belts.
That's what made me like Ultimo Dragon when he first debuted in WCW. I was like, who the fuck is this? It's like, what? Like, oh, he got all them titles? Never seen him hold any title like in live, just in that one picture. I was like, all right, cool. I'm down with this guy. We done. That's it. That's all I need. And then his attire was cool.
Yeah.
So, and that's only because during that time, the Double Dragon cartoon was out. And then Billy and Jimmy Lee in that cartoon had the same kind of like mask thing.
So WCW versus NWO on the Nintendo 64 was like my first wrestling game, and that right there is the sole reason I picked Ultimo Dragon and made him my favorite fucking wrestler.
Because he like Billy and Jimmy Lee from the Double Dragon cartoon.
Oh yeah, because of the Double Dragon cartoon. I was like, what the fuck? Like it's dragons, like they're dragons. All right, cool.
Like on some real shit, just today, you just made me realize that their attire was alike.
What, the Double Dragon?
Ultimo Dragon?
Yeah.
I never realized that till like just now. That's amazing.
Shout out to Double Dragon. If y'all haven't watched it, I mean, it's not much, but I mean, if you want to watch it, go watch it. But hey,
it's nice.
Part of my childhood.
It's great. It's great. But it's not like an arcade game. Come on.
I did wanted to care more about this match, but
Yeah. But after the post match, really what it was all about, because Mox came out,
and then only that,
casually.
Three of my favorite people came out.
Yeah, So when this happened, when Mox came out,
that was way too soon, way too damn soon. But go ahead.
When Mox came out, I was like, all right. I mean, I kind of expected this, but he walked out all casually. Then the Bucks came out, and the first thing I thought about was I was like, Scoot must love this shit. I was like, he gets to watch Kenny and the Good Brothers go against one of the best promos and the Young Bucks in an in-ring match. And he hates all of Young Bucks moveless. And
you know they're gonna get that shit off. You know they're gonna get that shit off.
Oh man.
They're getting that shit off.
They're gonna get that shit off on the Good Brothers.
They were like, yo, let's give ScooterRay a wet dream of professional wrestling. Here you go, man. Mox and the Young Bucks.
That's the anti-dream equation, I guess. But I mean, if your name is ScooterRay, that is. For
Yeah.
me, I'm ready for it. I want to see it.
Right. But yeah.
It's gonna be you know what? Hold on. In between the Bucks and in between Kenny, it's gonna be the match of 1,000 moves.
Yeah, and you're gonna get every bit of it. They're gonna be like,
You damn right you are.
they're gonna play Hangman with the letters of ScooterRay.
Gonna do something. It's
what they're gonna do.
It's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, so they, Young Bucks came out, lined up with Mox, and then ran into the ring to basically run off Kenny and the Good Brothers, as well as Don Callis, and that was that.
Malcolm Bivens.
And of course, through all that, we now come to tag match. Ty Conti, Hikaru Shida versus Nyla Rose, and the Bunny.
You know what? I would say this. If Ty Conti was not in this match, I would not care at all. Because
you know what?
You know how I feel about Hikaru Shida and her title reign. True. Nyla Rose, justice for Nyla Rose.
I'll say this.
And hold on, and Allie, she's dead to me.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see why she's dead to you. Yeah.
I'll say this.
So if Ty Conti was not in this match, I wouldn't have cared.
If it wasn't for Ty Conti and the Bunny's new tongue piercing. No, I'm kidding.
Was that new?
I thought that was new. It could be. It could not be new, but I had never seen it prior to last night, and I was just like,
it was prominent last night. It really was.
I mean, she stuck her tongue out. I mean,
she hadn't wrestled since she was with Brandy, so
that's true.
It could have been that we just.
This is like her first match in what was it? Feels like 8 months, maybe a year
since that. Like but that tag team tournament. Whenever that tag team tournament happened,
that was the end of last year.
Was it the end of last year?
I think it was like October, November, I believe.
Okay.
And speaking of, where's Diamante and Ivelisse?
I just now thought about it as soon as you said that.
Yo. So on Elevation, after Rosa had her match with Alex Grassi and she cut her promo, Diamante got up in her face and was like, "So you're claiming to be like this and that? You want to be like Miss Hispanic? Then let's talk about it." So Diamante's like doing singles action now against Thunder Rosa. Or was it Ivelisse?
It was around August of last year.
August?
Yeah. So pushing that year. It's based about good
7 months. She's been out of action for 7 months.
Now, basically, I would say personally, I wasn't expecting the ending because honestly, I didn't like the ending, and I didn't like Ty Conti taking the pin since Ty was kind of being built up. I didn't like the fact that she took the fall. Even though it was a fuck finish, but still, I don't like the fact that Ty took the fall considering they were building her up.
That's the only thing that saves Ty. That's the only thing is that it was a fuck finish. And she got pelted with that kendo stick.
She did.
That was very audible.
But not only that, but see, this is the thing I hate about with referees, because that's not a sound of somebody hitting the mat, or that's not a sound of
and
whatever.
That's funny because I thought that was going to be disqualification at first because the way that Aubrey was positioned. She didn't run up. Yeah, she was right by with the kendo stick. So I'm thinking like, okay, she's gonna hit her, and there's gonna be disqualification. So, all right. But then she walked up to I think it was Vicky that she walked up to, and then Bunny hit Ty, and then got the pin. Now it's the bad thing is that it's good for Bunny, obviously, because she gets that win, and it looks like okay, hey, we aligned ourselves with Matt Hardy. Cool, we're good now, but again, this is one of the type of matches that didn't really feed into the women's championship match or the women's championship picture. It more so fed into the feud between Matt Hardy stable and Dark Order. That's really all it was. And I hate that. And speaking of which, so does that mean that the Vicious Vixens are now with Matt Hardy's?
I don't know, but otherwise they'll be gone to me too. They're gone to me too.
Now, I will say this. Now, Matt Hardy's stable does look good with the players involved. I just
What? Why?
As far as private party.
Dude, I'm blaming Loki getting up in my face on you, man.
The aesthetics, like I'm like, all right, cool. They look like a formidable force, but I know because Matt Hardy is involved, Scoot's like, nah, fuck all that. But I do wish it was done better.
Small character progression. If you watched Being the Elite, there was a nice little bit on Private Party talking with Matt. And he said, they're like, Matt, like, how did you even get like Butcher, Blade, and Bunny like to like join us? He's like, oh, I used Broken Matt. They're like, what? He's like, yeah, I got Broken Matt, and yeah, I got them to join us. And it goes into like a little bit where Broken Matt's like talking to them about like becoming champions of dimensions, and they're like, all right, yeah, we're in. They're like, oh, okay, so you can actually like go into that state. You can actually play that character. He's like, yeah. I mean, how do you think I got with you guys? So he's like insinuating that he played a character. He's like, yeah, like I'm the undying hero. I'm the immortal hero for you.
That puts me in Scoot's camp with this one. I mean, that's just weird.
I just like it that in BT they flesh it out more, you know, or they flesh out Matt Hardy and like other factions a little bit more. Like they definitely flesh out Dark Order. They're like a bunch of fucking like weird people, like, but in a great way. I mean, exactly. That's exactly why we love the Dark Order.
Hey, I'm gonna do this, and this is great content. The HFO, FOH.
He said y'all can have that one for free. The HFO, FOH. That's mean. I gotta say, everybody but Bunny can FOH. Actually, no. Butcher and Blade are a pretty damn good tag team, man. I think they need to like just leave those three.
They could have separated, yeah. I would have, yeah. But anyway, we're not gonna waste too much time on that because, like I said, it was more fed to go ahead and just be a catalyst to further the feud between Hardy's stable and the Dark Order, which I wish they would have done a different way, or I wish they would have laid off for this week. And the reason I say that is because of the next match, which is the match, the Arcade Anarchy match, which I didn't care.
You have to go first on this one.
I will. That's fine.
Whoa.
For starters, I didn't care too much about this going into it. I didn't, and honestly, and luckily enough, I had started this maybe like 30 minutes to an hour after the show started. So I was able to fast forward through part of it. So I was like, you know what? I don't care about this. This feud should have ended a long time ago. This feud should have ended at Revolution. It should have been over and done with, no problem. So I started fast forwarding, and then I saw as I'm going through, I saw this teddy bear, and then I saw these Legos, and I said, hold up. And I went back. And then I played it from that point. And I'm glad that I did. And just for the record, I had multiple emotions going into this match and then throughout the end. Because I didn't care for the start of it, didn't care for this match. Legos came out. I was like, cool, let me watch this. Started watching it. I was like, it's all right. Then I got happy because then Penelope Ford integrated herself into the match. And I was like, okay, see what's going on. All right, whatever. And then out of nowhere, I didn't expect it. Chris Statlander came back. I was like, fuck yes. Hell yes. Thank you. Cool. And then the match went back to what it was. And I was like, all right, cool. Still cool match. And then it started dragging on. And then I seen this van pull up. I was like, oh shit, that's Sue's van. And I was like, ain't no way Trent's back. Couldn't be. No way. He's still out. Who comes out of that van? Trent Beretta. And then I got pissed. I should be happy, but I got pissed. The reason I got pissed was because this shit, if you were going to have this shit happen right now, then there's no way. There is no fucking way that you should have had all this shit happen. When we talked about this shit before, when Chuck became Miro's young boy, this shit should have went forward, and he should have continued to be his young boy. He should have had matches with Cassidy that he was forced to have by Miro to have matches with Cassidy and have him do all this bullshit to feed into this. So that way, when Trent came back this fucking soon, it would have meant more. All you did was take the fucking wedding ceremony and then had this fucking supposedly ending match that's supposed to be the finality of all this bullshit just to come back and then have this to have Trent come back so that we continue to further this stupid ass feud to have them continue to go on for no fucking reason. This should have been the crescendo of everything. Why?
I don't want to jump to that conclusion. I'm leaving it open. Like, I'm like, all right, hopefully this capped it off with Trent coming back, with Statlander coming back. Like, hopefully this capped their feud, and then Miro can now go off and do his single shit. Hopefully that's what they do. And if they don't, then yes, I'm in that same boat as you. Like, why the fuck are they still dragging? Go ahead.
My only saving grace for this match is because I thought that when this match ended, this was going to be the match that broke Miro away from Sabian, because I thought that he was going to take the pin. Miro was going to get mad, jump on Sabian, and then leave. And that was to me, I was like, okay, cool. This match had a purpose at the end of it, but now it doesn't. And that's the problem I have, because now you don't have Miro away from Sabian, and now you still have this feud going on because now Trent's come back. You're not going to have him come back from being injured only to kind of let it die out. They're going to continue this feud to where he goes against Sabian or Miro, or they have a tag match. It's going to be more weeks to months going on, and it's nonsensical when this could have been done way better. And that's what I hate about it.
They could have had the match they had at Revolution. Wait, didn't they have a match at Revolution? Yeah.
The tag match that was done perfectly in the beginning, and then went longer than expected.
And then when it took longer than 5 minutes, we were all pissed at it. Yeah, I remember. They could have done. You know what? I'll take it back. They just should have just paced this out longer, where Charles was still Charles up until this fucking point. Like, if it was only going to cost another couple of weeks, then Charles could still be the Butler Charles, and then Orange Cassidy can come out here. You could have had like a final fight, like say, call it Orange Cassidy wants to take on Miro and Kip, and then he brings out his secret help or something. Like, it could have easily been done in a better way. This was
exactly
okay.
The timeline is all over the place on this. Anyways.
You kind of fantasy booked it, Jaeger, by saying it. But what should have happened, and to go back to his point, Mr. Lip's point, the only people I'm happy for this match was Statlander coming back and Trent coming back. Yeah. All of this was stupid as shit. Now, what should have happened, Miro should have kept Charles as his butler.
Yep.
Up until this point.
Yep.
And Trent and Orange could have fought for Charles's freedom.
Oh, that would have been good too. Yeah.
But no, they did all this bullshit. Then you bring Trent in, which technically made it a 3-on-2 match, because it wasn't like Kip and Miro had somebody else. You made it
outside
a 3-on-2
of Penelope,
match.
but yeah, that wasn't nothing.
And to be honest with you, the only person I truly feel bad for out this whole thing is Miro.
Yeah. Yes.
Miro should have savagely been beating the shit out of Orange and Charles the whole time.
Hold on. I will say this though. The way he threw Orange
Oh my
outside
God.
the ring. Yeah. But go ahead, Scoot.
But this was if this would have been at Revolution, I would have been okay. But the fact that after this, I'm over it. I was over it. I hope, and the thing is, I don't think this is it. With Trent coming back, there's no way Miro and Kip are going to be like, oh hell no, no, this is not over.
Yeah, and that's the sad part about it because this right here, this Arcade Anarchy should have been the crescendo. It should have been okay, like Scoot said, have Orange and Trent come back, have them fight for Charles to be released from being a young boy, and then basically have after that have Miro break himself away from Kip because Kip would have been the one to take the fall because of Penelope, because they built that shit up already, because they've basically voiced it the prior weeks up to this. So it would have made more sense for all of that to happen within one match. The match could have been shit, but what came out of it could have been what mattered. And they didn't do that. And that's what I have a problem with.
Yeah, it was a waste.
Yeah, and it's just it's very sloppy to me. And I hate saying that because I fucks with AEW very hard, but it's now getting to certain places where it's like I feel like AEW had like plans in place for certain things going forward, and then they kind of just went off the rails a little bit. And that's what kind of hurts the most a little bit because again, I hate giving more fuel and ammo to Cornette to sit there and shit on this even more. And that's mainly why, because I don't want to have anybody else have fuel to be like, you know what? Hey, I'm going to shit on all of this right now. But it is what it is. So hopefully they figure out a way to make this work. But I really don't see it. Like I'm in the percentage of being like, it's cool for certain things that happen, but at the end of the day, this is going to lead into something that I really don't care about. But that was AEW in a nutshell with the best friends and Statlander finishing off. Definitely glad to see Statlander back. Definitely.
Yeah.
Where she goes from this point, I don't know. Because it's kind of hard to tell, especially with Britt Baker kind of pushing herself up the being in the upper echelon, and now with Thunder Rosa being also up there as well. Statlander is now just kind of there, but I'm hoping
this is maybe what they've been waiting on, like to get the ball rolling for a championship. I legitimately think that we're eventually going to see Baker and Rosa as champs, but I mean, Statlander had a whole bunch of momentum prior to her injury.
True.
I saw it happening as her taking the championship, but things happen. So maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe that's what they were waiting on. Who knows?
I'd be fine with that. It would make more sense for Statlander to take the belt off of Sheeta and then kind of transition into Britt and then Thunder Rosa, because that would allow them to breathe and not have Britt and Thunder Rosa pull the trigger on that so soon.
Right.
Give Chris Statlander, even if it's just a few months of a run, I'm still like cool with that, just to kind of get back into the swing of things. But yeah,
right.
I'm fine with that, because when she left, that was the piece that was missing when the women's division kind of stayed in like that low point that it was in. So hopefully we're good. But yeah, like I said, that's the way AEW went off TV. Hopefully next week is what's up, and we can see something transition into some more positive aspects. The show was still good. I'm not gonna take away from that. The show was good in its own right. There's just some low points that I didn't care for. The same thing happened kind of with NXT, but in the reverse. NXT kind of started off in a low point for me and then picked up. But before we get into NXT, I'm pretty sure Mr. Scoot got some news.
All right. So Andrade has been making his rounds because he's been doing interviews.
Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it.
One thing, he revealed that he thinks that he was going to be inserted in that whole Ric Flair, Charlotte, Lacey Evans storyline.
Okay. Oh, he assumed he was. Okay. Was that the plan, or he just thought he was going to be?
I think that was the plan. But I guess with Lacey getting pregnant for real, I guess it just didn't play completely out.
Okay.
I don't know how he would have got inserted into that, but I don't know.
Maybe
Another
she's been dating him. I don't know.
Another thing that was brought up was the fact that Triple H asked him did he want to go back to NXT for like a year to build himself back up, and he turned it down.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
He turned down going back to NXT. He gave a reason. I didn't read the full reason why, but he gave a reason. But yeah, he turned down going back to NXT.
Well, there goes your Legado del Fantasma.
Now I'm starting to think that may have been the plan.
It might have been. What else did he bring up? Now this one, I saw a lot of people trying to kill Vince over this. I necessarily say I can't. And basically what it was that Vince thought he was injured, and he wasn't. And I guess when it was brought to Vince's attention that he wasn't injured, I guess Vince might have forgot. And many people was like, well, how can he be the owner of the company and not know when superstars are injured and healed? And I was like, I can't expect a 75-year-old man to know the status of everybody.
You know what? I can't expect a 75-year-old man to know that, but I definitely expect Vince McMahon to know that. With how rooted he is into everything for his show, like, okay. I don't know. Like, apparently when it's a thing with commentators, whenever they go completely quiet, it's because Vince is like yelling at them in the earpiece.
Okay.
I don't know where I heard that like random little tidbit, but yeah, it's like whenever you would hear like silences and commentary on shows, it's because Vince is like talking. But but anyway, I don't know, as integrated into the show and like how scripted he runs his ship, I'm pretty sure that he should be at least aware of who is injured.
Yeah. Now, Lip, did you have any input with that?
No, I did find it here though about the NXT thing.
Okay, yeah. What was it?
And I quote, Andrade said, "I never proposed going back to NXT. They proposed it to me, but when they noticed that I'm quitting, they asked me if I wanted to spend a year in NXT, then go back to the main roster. I told them that I wanted to make it on the main roster. I don't think being in NXT is a lesser thing, but I would rather be out of the company than be in NXT because at least out there, I can make more noise. I don't have anything against NXT or the wrestlers there, but I didn't want to take a step back." Unquote. Okay. So yeah, pretty straightforward, not downing NXT, but I get what he's saying in that aspect, basically saying, because I mean, he can, you're in NXT, you're still in that WWE bubble. So anything you try to do, it's not going to really get you anywhere except going back to having that opportunity to go back to the main roster for them to potentially give you that 50-50 split of either doing the same thing they did with you before or actually doing something with you of substance. But if you're out there on your own back into the indies where you have more freedom, i.e. like Cody, where you're able to make more noise and do what's necessary for your career, it's the percentage is better for you on that end in that gamble rather than being in WWE where it's like you still are under the thumb of somebody else. And honestly, I do agree with them. I do.
Yeah, I can't be mad at that. Also, too, I think this was probably one of the more surprising things Now I hope it was true and they didn't like misconstrue his words or whatever. But Andrade said he was getting paid $3 million a year.
Whoa.
Exactly. Exactly.
Whoa.
Yeah. Apparently
And
Andrade
you
was
let
getting paid.
wait. And you kept texts coming while my ass was at home?
Apparently he was getting $3 million a year. And I was like, shit, okay.
And this guy said, I take my chances.
You know what? That in itself
That's
speaks volumes.
right.
Because if, again, just like I stated before, I've worked
$3
in the
million.
carrier business. I've worked for both FedEx and UPS. Both pay varying wages. UPS obviously pays more. UPS paid me enough not to care because before you all see this beard here. Before I worked for UPS, I went 10 years without shaving my beard, without being clean shaven. UPS has a standard. You have to be clean shaven. I dreaded it. But I seen what they were paying me. No, for UPS. FedEx don't give a shit. For UPS, though, they said, yo, you got to shave your beard. You got to be clean shaven. And I seen what they were paying me. And I was like, And then I started seeing those paychecks and they paid me not to care. So, and this is not in comparison to $3 million a year. Trust me, there's a lot that I would do not to care about shit for $3 million a year. This speaks volumes. For somebody to sit there, they can easily Andrade could have sat home and taken a paycheck.
Yeah.
$3 million a year.
Yeah.
But passion speaks volumes. So if you have somebody who's on your payroll who's willing to forego that whole payroll of basically living for the rest of their lives perfectly fine without any issues, for them to say, fuck that paycheck, I want to go do what I love to do. That means that the fault is in you, WWE, not your performers. You can pay the people that you have on payroll all the money in the world, but it's not going to take away from how you treat them. The only person that works for at this point that I can think of is AJ Styles, but that's because he's already made a name for himself outside of that, and he wants to retire there. He's doing it right. He made the right decision for him. Anybody else, you fucked up, and you're still fucking up.
Now, he also did say something, too, that I thought was interesting, that I guess the Justice for Andrade tag it really deservingly. He said Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre were on his side. And they were like, this guy should be pushed.
Makes sense.
But obviously it didn't work out.
Randy Orton surprises me on that. Drew McIntyre doesn't because of the match they had in NXT. But Randy Orton, that's a surprise.
Yeah. He said Randy and Drew were like some of his biggest supporters, but it just didn't work out for Andrade. Yeah.
How do you have that?
Like I said, he's been doing interviews and he's been saying some interesting stuff. But of course, it's almost like I don't want to say he's falling typically to what everybody else is saying, because obviously there's something wrong if you're willing to turn down $3 million a year. But
exactly.
It's falling in the same boat that, not saying that the company as a whole is bad. It's just they make bad decisions and do bad things, and that's what makes it frustrating and irritating.
I mean, they're not EA, but they're getting there.
Yeah. Now, you kind of mentioned, I think it was either you or Jaeger mentioned it earlier about Peacock. Well, it is official, because I think I sent it to y'all, that Peacock is rooting through the network and taking out controversial things. And I say controversial with a quotes because that could be anything. I think one of the best memes I saw was, I feel bad for the Peacock employee who's sitting there trying to root through it and then stumble across Mae Young giving birth to a hand.
Oh man.
What about, but like, But the good day that the guy has to have who has to go through all the bra and panty matches, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, silver linings. Anyways, but so wait, so that's my question. Is like, when is this all effective? When is like, how much
So,
content are they taking out? Like, there's a lot to go through.
so from what Peacock announced, WWE should be fully integrated by SummerSlam.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
And I guess by then, whatever is out, and whatever is probably in is in until somebody bitches and complains about it.
I'm about to say, you gotta like get rid of King for like every episode of Raw for 10 years or something.
Right?
You're saying puppies.
Like every episode, he says puppies. That's a lot. You're gonna miss out the entire Attitude Era. I'm pretty sure.
You're gotta take out Vince, making Trish Stratus walk around like a dog and bark and all this other shit. You gotta.
Which, don't get me wrong, that can be taken out. That can be removed.
It can be.
That can be removed.
Don't kink shame me now. But anyways,
they're gonna probably take out the live sex segment between which sucks because of the fact that's one of the main reasons why Edge is called the rated R superstar.
Yeah.
That was the start of it. So I don't know. Like I'm biased because the stuff that I grew up with. So like them taking that shit away is like taking away like instances of what made the Attitude. I mean, granted, there was some bullshit that was there, obviously, but at the same time, it's like it's hard to like watch an old episode of Raw and be like, wait, I remember this being there, but it's not there no more. You know, it's just I don't know, like, and it's bad enough with the Chris Benoit stuff because, again, for those of you who don't realize, with the beginning of the inception of WWE Network, there was no Chris Benoit stuff on there. They eliminated it completely, and then they put it back. But now, like, if you look at it, well, I mean, you can't look at it now because WWE Network is gone. But when you looked at it, they would still have the matches. They wouldn't have it on the on where you can skip to. They would have like this big ass fucking gap where you would have to fast forward from one match to the next to kind of get to it rather than just skip straight to it. And so I was cool with that. I was like, okay, cool. You don't want to shit there. You don't want to put his name on there. Cool, whatever. But at least you still got the matches on there. So I'm fine. But now
might just take it all out completely. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We might go back to square one if that, which is crazy because how are you able to watch all the WrestleManias without WrestleMania 20 having its main event?
Yep.
That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. And then to sit there and then to not have other matches with Chris Benoit. Like, what? I think that's what, TLC 3 or 4 that they had on SmackDown with him and Chris Jericho winning the tag titles. Like, or with him and I think it was him and Chris that won the tag titles from Power Trip too.
Well,
they initially won them.
But I mean, the Chris Benoit thing is, yes, a great thing in within itself, but I don't like the loose definition of controversial.
Correct, exactly.
Because
it's too subjective.
Yes, they have other TV shows and movies on Peacock if you ever decide to want to explore those things. The problem is controversial in WWE might be differently than what they might think in a movie or in a scripted TV show, because hell, they could deem Crime Time controversial. They could deem The Godfather, or technically is a pimp, but all of that, hell, they could deem Blood controversial.
Eventually they probably will.
And and this is the problem that I have, and I know I'm about to go off on a little bit of a tangent on this side, but this is why I hate, just like Scoot said, that term of controversial being super subjective. And that's the fact that if we just take into account the Pepe Le Pew stuff, he's being canceled for what he did, which really isn't that bad, just to be perfectly honest, for any of you who actually have watched Looney Tunes and watched segments with Pepe Le Pew. This is where I'm going with this for cancel culture, because this is the problem. Because you take somebody like Pepe Le Pew and you say, okay, that needs to be canceled. Let's take a comparison. Let's say Looney Tunes. Cool. Let's go ahead and say Family Guy. Let's say Quagmire. Somebody who's drugged people. Somebody who's dragged an unconscious woman into a hotel room. Somebody who's had X, Y, Z. See, Scoot had disappear on that one. But
you're 100% correct.
And of course, that's not to cancel Quagmire, because I fucks with Quagmire hard. No pun intended, giggity. But
let's say, is that before or after the drugs?
Right. But that's the thing. It's like now, but that alone lets me know that all this stuff is like, it's targeted. You're picking and choosing what you want to eliminate or to cancel.
Otherwise, he would just blanket term it. Yeah.
Exactly. And this is why when you sit there and say controversial, you have one person going through it, that's super duper subjective. And 9 times out of 10, it's somebody who did not grow up in that era, who has sat there and watched and understood the context and everything. So that way they can't sit there and go and say, you know what? Yeah, this may seem bad, but it's not as bad because I grew up with this, and the context within it, you know, it's way too subjective.
Let's go like a little more recent. Let's get to the people that are getting mad at that Lil Nas X stuff.
Okay.
Like, if you're not gonna get mad at WAP or something, but then want to get mad at Lil Nas X, then I mean you've got your priorities off. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And you know what? And you're right. And I know we're going off the beaten path, people, but just stay with us because it stays in the same vein. Like, what was it? Old Town Road?
No, I was talking about the more recent one.
No. I'm just using it as an example because a lot of people try to go into defense of him doing this and saying, hey, a lot of people like Old Town Road, and you have people look up to you. But Old Town Road is in the same vein of Weeknd's I Can't Feel My Face. I Can Feel My Face was talking about cocaine, but they use that song in a lot of things. And Old Town Road was talking about sipping lean and doing all this stuff. So just because something went commercial,
and sipping lean,
yeah. So you're sitting there, you're using that song as an example of why you should not do certain things. Yet, if you listen to the lyrics of the song, it's completely different. Same thing with I Can't Feel My Face. From The Weeknd, that song was used in a lot of situations or a lot of songs or a lot of content. And yet people don't realize it was really talking about sniffing cocaine. It's like, what, like, so you can't sit there and say that for one thing and then say it for another. It's like it doesn't correlate. So that's why a lot of examples are flawed. And that's why being super subjective in certain situations like this is completely flawed. Because when people were paying for the WWE network, they were paying for what WWE had been through. Like this, like if I'm paying for something, at that point, you shouldn't be able to tell me, okay, I can't look at this. I'm paying for it. So therefore, like if it was on cable, like granted, you pay for cable too, but I mean, that's network shit. Like they have to abide by some type of rules. This is just a streaming service. There's no reason why it can't, because Netflix can say every word, show every bit of content in the book. Rating system, obviously. That's what it's for. When WWE went to the Attitude Era, it was a rating system. They went to TV 14 at that point when they went up. It's like, so you can't sit there and be like, okay, it's a fucking rating system. If you allow your kids to watch it, that's your fault.
It tells you on the TV. Every time they come back from commercial, even watermarks are like TV MA or TV 14 or whatever.
Exactly. So it's like, come on.
It's why video games have a freaking rating system too. Same shit. They show you what the content is rated. Like, I don't understand why parents can't seem to parent.
Exactly. And that's the problem. That's the problem with that.
Because it's easy to blame somebody else.
You're right.
Yeah, true.
You're
It's
absolutely
easy.
right.
It's easy to say, oh, they're showing women in bikinis. My kid shouldn't be watching this. My kid
All
shouldn't be
right,
discovering.
change the damn channel then, Karen. Jesus.
Yeah. And to
Change the
be
damn channel.
perfectly honest, like anybody who got the WWE network when it first came out, it was people who wanted to go through the archives of what they lived through, and then other people who wanted to be historians and go through the past. But everyday people aren't going through the WWE archives and vaults to look at everything that's under the sun.
No.
So anybody that goes through it is going to be
Look,
somebody that's
hey,
offended.
I'm gonna keep it 100% real with the both of y'all and to the
Do it.
people out there.
Do
I've
it.
had WWE Network since day one.
Damn.
Other than watching the monthly pay-per-views, you know how many times I was actually going on the network and watching random shit?
Rarely.
I can count on my hands.
See? Yeah. And any time that I did it, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, I'm always intrigued to watch them, but I never care to watch them. But those Stone Cold Steve Austin like podcasts that are like right after the pay-per-views.
That's the
Like,
I'm telling you, that's the only time I ever watch them is
thank you,
because
right? That's the only time you ever watch
because
like any show besides the pay-per-view.
that's the only time. Put it this way, the only thing I went out my way to watch recently on the network, I watched Big E's documentary.
Okay.
And that's what I do
I
too.
watched
So
Big
I'll go
E's
through
documentary.
I'll watch new
Um,
documentaries. I'll watch the old documentaries. I used to buy the documentaries on DVD when they used to come out. Chris Benoit,
Same.
Triple H, Batista's, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, John Cena. I used to buy those whole like 3 disc
Yeah.
sets and watch the shit religiously. And I go back on WWE Network because they have all those on there. And then as far as like the old shit, Attitude Era, Nitro, whatever, I would just go back and watch certain segments that I used to remember. Like I would never go through and just binge watch Monday Night Nitro and then go through from like 1 week to the next week. Like that's stupid to me. It's like I'm gonna go back and try to watch the shit that I remember that, like come on.
Because if you follow WWE Network on Instagram, they try to do moments like that. Well, hey, remember this moment when Shelton Benjamin when Shawn Michaels super kicked Shelton Benjamin? Well, you can go on the network and watch
I remember those
November,
plugs.
the November blank episode of Raw. They try to give you the dates so you can go back and watch it. And it's like, fam, I'm not doing that.
So man, fuck all that.
like you showing me the highlight of Shawn Michaels super kicking Benjamin off the rope.
Like
That's the highlight.
exactly. You're telling me exactly what to look up and then showing it to me. Okay.
Exactly. But yeah, so I guess the true network historians will probably be calling it out in the future because I can't see WWE making an official statement, nor I can't truly see Peacock making an official statement of what exactly is being removed and what is staying. But I guess true historians will probably see, hey, they removed this segment, or hey, they just removed the whole 3 years of Raw from Peacock. So we'll just see.
Ridiculous.
If it's even just 3 years.
Right.
Yeah, right. You got anything else outside of that, Scoop?
I find this a little interesting stat.
What's that?
They was talking about Asuka and Sasha.
Okay.
And they was talking about Asuka and Sasha at WrestleMania. Asuka is 0-3 at WrestleMania. Sasha is 0-5.
Huh.
Really?
Exactly, Mr. Deasley. Asuka is 0-3. Sasha is 0-5. And they were saying, are they going to risk giving them other L's to crown new champions to usher in a new era? Or is Sasha or Asuka going to win so they can finally get a WrestleMania victory?
Huh. Wow. Because neither one of them should win based on the people that they're going against.
Exactly.
But that sucks, though.
Yeah, I did not realize Sasha was 0-5.
Oh my gosh.
That does put me in quite a predicament.
That
It
does.
Because technically it should be what was it WrestleMania 20 or 21 with Benoit and Guerrero closing out the show together.
That was 20.
It should technically be Bianca being crowned and Rhea being crowned to usher in the new era. But do they risk 0-4 and 0-6?
If they, I mean, okay, let's just say if one of them do go over, because it's not going to be both of them that go over. If one of them do go over, it's going to be Sasha. Yes. Sasha's going to go over. They're going to have Sasha go over Bianca because they're going to have Rhea win against Asuka because there's no money in having Asuka beat Rhea moving forward, especially after you've done all these vignettes.
Especially after what happened last year.
And so with Bianca,
Rhea losing to Charlotte,
Bianca will make the most sense to allow her to lose. You know, it'd be the same thing with Booker T and Triple H. With Booker T getting that match and then going over against Triple H and then like losing in a horrible fashion, mind you, but either way, still losing. Yeah, my money's still on Rhea and Bianca winning. So
they're gonna just risk the 0-4 and 0-6.
They're gonna have to. They're honestly because look, both Sasha and Asuka can win those titles back.
No, I can't.
Yes, like because even with Sasha, like because they can easily make a quick storyline with Bianca being champion because Bianca never won a championship in NXT. She can win this championship, have it kind of go to her head or whatever, and then end up losing it foolishly back to Sasha. That's easy. You can write that shit easily, but give her moment at WrestleMania, no problem. Mm-hmm. But the reason that I said that Sasha would go over because of the fact that she has lost that many times, and they're trying to give her the respect with this whole title reign with her. This is her longest title reign, to be perfectly honest. So I could see them doing that. But yeah, I really don't see them not giving it to Bianca, but I'm not going to say it's impossible. So
yeah,
that sucks though. That really does. I hate it.
So before we get into NXT, we want to give a congratulations to William Shatner for joining the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame.
Shout out, good old RIP.
And everybody do it with me. And let's give another congratulations to Mr. Rob Van Dam.
Oh shit.
Because he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
That's interesting.
So I think that is the official class of 2021, and I know they recorded the 2020 Hall of Fame already. I don't know if they recorded the 2021 one yet.
Hold on, did they even show everybody? Like, well, they probably didn't have any pictures from it yet, did they?
No, there was some pictures leaked. I know British Bulldog's daughter accepted on his behalf.
Was Shatner there?
Well, 2021 hasn't been recorded yet.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They recorded 2020, but not 2021.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And unfortunately, Jushin Thunder Liger was not at the Hall of Fame ceremony, so that sucks for him. Unfortunately, that sucks.
Oh, still with the travel restrictions?
I don't know. Maybe he probably just didn't want to come for like a day or two and then fly back. So
that's true.
But yeah, so now we can get into NXT.
All right. So just like I said before, NXT started off. It didn't feel like a go home show when it first started, and I was starting to get kind of just with it because I was like, I really don't care about it right now. I really don't feel like watching because I don't feel like a go home show. I will say this: it started off still at a lull, but I like the way it progressed throughout the match story wise, and that was with Roderick Strong against Cameron Grimes. It was very subtle how this shit started last week with Cameron Grimes trying to get the rights to Undisputed Era and try to do his own thing. And I like how they kind of carried that on because in a way it still fed into Roddy still kind of feeling the blunt of like Undisputed Era not being a thing and him still dealing with the strain of that. And I like how they carried that on into this match and then moving forward because this was really the reason that he lost. It was a spoiler alert for those who don't know. He lost.
I mean, he even went back to his old theme music.
Yeah. And I like how everything played out in this match with Roddy being distracted with the plant in the shirt ringside. So that and then the fact that he came in the armband and just everything.
Grimes the system.
Yeah.
Grimes the system.
Matter of fact, let's talk about that. Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes is money, no pun intended. It just like I love it. I fucking love it. And shout out to all the previous Impact / TNA guys in the main event. We'll get to that later. But Cameron Grimes went over, got the cave in on Roddy.
It wasn't the best looking cave in, but
it was not. It was not. But it's okay. Like you said, Scoot, he did get it.
He did get it.
Roddy looked distraught as he should have. And
well, don't forget, remember Grimes when he thought he was going to hit Roddy with a foreign object, but it ended up being the UE armband.
Yeah.
And that's what distracted him to get hit with the cave in.
True.
And Grimes taking that loss, and Grimes say he going to the moon.
As he should. And Roddy, and obviously I'm gonna skip ahead just on this part just because it ties in. Roddy being distraught. Later on throughout the night, there was a backstage segment with Roddy he was going to be interviewed, but he was walking away and he said he was done. He said, "I'm just done. That's it." So this writes him off TV. I'm hoping just for a little bit. I don't need him being back.
I don't want him to interfere in that match between Cole and O'Reilly.
That too. Because I definitely don't want that because it's not necessary. It's definitely not needed. Like, granted, you're part of UE, but do you see Bobby Fish around? No. So let this be with Cole and O'Reilly. Let them do their thing and let this write strong off of TV for a little bit to come back fresh with not having to worry about Undisputed Era at all or him to be attached to it. Because in all honesty, which is crazy enough, he was the very last member to be inducted into Undisputed Era, which is crazy how this hits him just as hard.
He became part of UE because Fish got hurt initially.
Yeah.
And they needed that third member again, and that's when he betrayed Dunn to join UE.
So yeah, but Grimes goes over, still looking strong, and after that they had a vignette with Karrion Kross, which is, and of course I should have been excited about this, but I was not. The only thing that stood out with this vignette was that one thing Kross said was that I'm not going to focus on getting my mental in order. I'm just going to focus on the basics. I'm going to focus on going back to what I used to do, which when it pointed out, I was like, oh, he might actually lose this match.
He possibly could.
Because just that little tidbit, because like we talked about last week where I said, Scoot, I'm agreeing with you on this one because the way that Finn changed my perception on this with his promo and the fact that they entered that tidbit, it's like, I'm not going to focus on the mental. I'm like, you're going to allow that to be your downfall in this match to lose.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, which I'm like, if they pull, I'm still like, it's predictable, but it's super duper surprising if they allow Finn to go over Kross.
Oh, but then Kross goes to main roster.
Yes, then Kross must go to main roster.
I mean, we'll get into it in the predictions because
Kross goes to main roster.
Spoiler alert.
Calling it now. Not even gonna give him like a pay-per-view for like entrance. It's gonna be like Monday after WrestleMania. Just shows up.
Yeah.
Looks like Drew McIntyre, TikTok.
I mean,
Ooh.
if
Ooh.
huh.
Ooh.
No, I'm not gonna allow myself to get into that. No.
Okay.
but yeah, after that, we had and this is what I was talking about when I was talking about AEW, kind of just doing like the predictable shit. Santos and Legado del Fantasma came out for their promo, and Santos Escobar kind of sort of delivered an open challenge, which was answered by Tyler Breeze. I hate this shit. I hate when they do this because especially
Breeze wasn't gonna win.
Exactly. Especially when you do it for like a title. And even if it was for a title, it's still the go home show. You're not going to have the champion going into a match and then lose. It happens. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but it happens very rarely. And when you have two people who have a championship going into a unification match, if you have this person lose on a go home show, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to win at the pay-per-view. And that's what sucks about it. And so with Tyler coming out, and I hate that when you have somebody of the caliber of Tyler Breeze, who justice for Tyler Breeze, even though they won the tag titles in NXT, they still deserve justice.
Yes.
This is one of the situations where I would have rather you have waited to pull the trigger on this to have the unpredictability of that match. Because when Tyler Breeze came out, I immediately was like, I don't care right now. If this match happens,
I'm not gonna lie, I was zoned out. Like I was doing stuff around the house and shit. Like I was,
And this is another one of the reasons why I was just like, I just don't care about this episode of NXT. Like I literally had said, all right, when we do Tag Me In, I know this is going to be a breeze, no pun intended, to kind of go through when we talk about NXT. And this match went, and it went the same way that I thought. It went longer than expected, but sure enough, Tyler Breeze lost. Santos won. You had MSK come out to help out Breeze, and then of course
I missed all of that.
Yeah, MSK came out, and this was where the first bit of intrigue hit as a go home show, because once MSK came out and they ran Legado del Fantasma off, GYV came onto the screen, and they basically voiced their opinion on both the competitors. On the other two competitors within this match.
Wait, what the fuck was I doing?
Oh, you were doing stuff around the house.
Oh my god! The grizzled young veterans.
Yeah, and they came on, and so they basically stated that MSK is they're too worried about like the glitz and the glam and like everything, being distracted by everything other than what they need to be worried about, and that's going to cost them the loss. Legado del Fantasma, they're just not pretty much in their league, and they're going to be the ones that come out as the new NXT champions, tag team champions. Okay. And that's that. And so you basically went off screen with that being in your mind. And I was like, okay, so now we're starting to build towards Stand and Deliver. So from that point, I was slightly intrigued because I was still in my lull point.
Okay.
But then you start a little bit more. Still not too much, but just a little bit more. Because then you had a backstage segment with The Way. And they first started the interview with Johnny Gargano.
No, I caught the end part of this interview.
Yeah, which was weird. Then the end of this interview was very weird. I don't know what was happening, but the beginning of it, Johnny was talking about how it was still unfair, and he still thought it was just a crock to have him go into this match without knowing who was going to go against. Mm-hmm. And then you had Austin Theory interject and was like, "Well, you remember the finger poke of doom," which I like. I like that they alluded to that, and stating that hey, that killed the business. And then Austin Theory was like, "Hey, we're still here." So, and then Johnny was like, "Hey, that might work." It's like, cool, all right. So that's what they were going for, which
Yeah.
Just like last week, I think I talked about. I said Austin Theory was still going to go on. I was wrong. Spoiler alert. But they went from that to interviewing the rest of the way, being Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. And Candice was talking, and then she started her promo, but it just kind of just went off on this weird, just like, and then whatever. And then they carried on from that to their tag match, which was the way LeRae and Hartwell versus Gigi Dolan and Zeta Ramir, which was a squash match.
Zeta Ramir is another graduate of Booker T's Royal Academy. She was AQA there at Royal. And we all know Gigi is Priscilla Kelly.
Yes. Yes.
Gigi was Priscilla Kelly? Wait, say again?
Gigi is Priscilla Kelly.
Okay. No, I was like, that definitely looks like her, but
yeah, that's her.
I was like, if I didn't know a squash match when I seen one though, because I had to look up and say who, and then I was like, wait a minute, that's not Gigi. I was like, Gigi's name is Gigi, but that's not how I know Gigi. Like, but okay.
Well, many people thinks with these new crop of women, many people thinks that she might be one of the breakout stars of the new wave of NXT standouts.
Priscilla Kelly, she absolutely should.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see how it plays out.
I think she's Darby Allin's ex-girlfriend or ex-wife.
Ex-wife.
Ex-wife. There we go.
Yeah.
Really, I didn't know her and Darby were married.
I think they just got divorced. I think it was like sometime last year.
Ah, yeah, 2020. You're right. You're absolutely right. Huh? What do you know? The more you know. But yeah, this match was merely, again, just another build. But I'm not mad at it. We kind of predicted this the way against Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, obviously. So Candice went on the mic and started to cut another promo that was, again, very weird. It just seemed off. It seemed very off. But, of course, she challenged Ember and Shotzi. They came out on the tank, cut their promo, and proceeded to shoot Indy Hartwell with a projectile that she did not sell.
I was just like, you how dare you not sell that tank, Indy? It's just no. But
like,
at least like, be like, ow, the fuck? Like,
yeah,
like I don't know, something. Like, or at least like if you're gonna stand there and absolutely no sell it, at least turn around and be like, oh my god, that hurt, or something. Like, I don't know, give it something, some little pop, like something. I don't know.
That just made it more awkward for me, especially judging from how Austin Theory sold it when he got hit with it. I was like, where's that? But
same time though.
Well, I mean, Austin did get hit in the Theories though.
Also, Theory does a lot of things extravagantly.
Yeah, as we will also talk about later. Yeah. But yeah, so now this is another match that was set up that we did talk about earlier. That with this build for Stand and Deliver is just
one
top.
Second, guys. Might have to be going soon. But I'll let you know. I'll give you like a hand wave or some shit.
That's all good.
All right, cool. But with that heads up given, I'll let you know. But yeah.
For sure. I mean, we'll more than likely be flying through this anyway because NXT in itself,
it was pretty fast paced.
It was fast, but it had a lot of substance, and with that same substance, we're going into the next match, which happened to be a two-pronged thing, which was Zoe Stark versus Raquel Gonzalez. First off, let me get this, Zoe Stark. Thank you. You're putting some patterns into your gear, so it's coming together. It's coming together. You don't look like a jobber anymore, but still needs more work. But I'm glad at the progression. I'm happy. But
happy.
anyway, this
Zoe,
match
you hear that? He's happy.
was a two-pronged thing. It was meant to build Zoe up just a little bit more because this match went on longer than a squash match would have, and this was meant to give Raquel a credible opponent going into Stand and Deliver. But also, this in itself was mainly just a precursor for what was going to go on throughout the entire night of Raquel and Io beating the shit out of each other throughout the entire night from this point on. And I loved it because this in itself built up. Like, you already have Cross and Balor being built up as the main event for night 2. But for night 1, you're literally building up your main event throughout this entire show as the show is going on. There were, I believe, 3 segments of them just basically going at it. Loved every bit of it because after this match, after Raquel won, Io came out, started shit with Raquel.
Yeah.
And they went from that to having another segment, which I don't know where it fell into place, but it was a backstage segment where Io and Raquel got into it again, and Raquel threw Io through the fucking wall into another hallway, and then ended that fight. And then it went from there to a vignette, because this at this point was like the real ramp up to the go home show, which I was all about, because then from there it went to the promo package for Cole and O'Reilly.
Oh, that was nice.
Which was built very beautifully for a grudge match in itself. It's like you're gonna build up the history between them, going from the very past in the Indies to New Japan, up until Undisputed Era, NXT, all this other shit, and then going from there.
It felt like a UFC match type of, like the way they do it, the way they presented it.
True. It felt like that, and also felt like old school promos that would happen in WWE, like for WrestleMania, when they went this long drawn out promos where it's like, yo, I'm all for this. Like, let me, because at first, like last week, I was cool with their promo and their face to face, but I was like, okay, I'm cool with the match, but hey, whatever. But now I'm invested on another level because I want to see this and I want to see what they're gonna do. So Cole, first, another thing, just before I even move on to the next thing, but Cole in a suit looks legit.
Yeah.
And when I seen him in that suit, I was like, yo, if he's main roster bound, he needs to carry that part onto main roster. Just him in a suit.
I'm down with that.
From upper mid card to main event status. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Something I didn't care about. Well, actually, Balor actually had a promo. Well, no, he had a promo after this next match, which was the Case Catanzaro and Caden Carter versus T and Sean and Xia Li. Yeah.
Xia Li and Mei Ying.
Yeah, I honestly didn't care.
I think T and Xia, I think is the name of the stable.
Yeah.
I didn't care for this match. I really didn't.
Well, I wanted to see if Mei Ying was in a fight, but guess not.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yeah. I mean, granted, it's cool. I like how everything was portrayed, as far as with the aesthetics of like T and Sean, how you only had Xia Li in the ring by herself doing all like the work and shit, and then Caden Carter kind of gets out and then gets taken out completely.
Yeah.
And here's the problem with that. Wait, what's her name? What's the main chick's name?
Xia Li?
No, not Xia Li.
Mei Ying.
The problem I have with this is that you have her just take out Caden Carter just like that, with like a grip of the throat and then like some smoke and shit.
She breathed on her.
So it's like, okay, again with the supernatural stuff in a way. I'm not gonna say completely supernatural because it could, whatever. But if you build her up to be this strong, how are you gonna portray her in a match setting when this happens? She's gonna be formidable, like super formidable, like where she can just take on anybody like that? Or is it going to be a situation where you kind of just completely dilute her moving forward? That's the problem where I had.
Like that was like a special move, like a Tajiri missed or some shit.
Yeah. So I just don't know where they go with this, and I think that's why I'm kind of
Nobody does the mist anymore. I mean, Asuka did it for a second, but yeah, sorry.
That's why I'm put off by it, because I'm confused as to where they go from here. So that's just my confusion. But either way, T and Shah wins this match. They move on to do whatever, I guess. But ironically enough, since Loki did show himself, there was a dog. There was a mystery dog that was on NXT in a promo. Well, not a promo, but a vignette where you saw a little dog move forward and then just run off to the performance center, and then it clipped away, which was a nice precursor to a coming soon vignette that happened later on. But we'll talk about that now, since it did happen later on. That's the fact that they showed the dog again, and that dog ran to a set of heels attached to some legs that was potentially attached to a body, attached to somebody who could potentially be a notable name. Who that mysterious person will be on the first episode of NXT when it goes to Tuesdays is the question. I did think that as well.
That's what.
But it said, so do they change her name to Frankie something?
Frankie Valkyrie.
I mean, I think that's something that I can think of that would probably happen, was that it would be Ty Valkyrie.
Wait, did they say her name was Frankie?
Well, because it had a see you soon on April 13th. I'm paraphrasing because it said something else, but yeah, it said, I think, see you soon, April 13th. And then it was signed Frankie.
Okay.
So unless Frankie was the dog,
or
which would also make sense.
What? That could be true. That could be true. Frankie could be the dog.
But I mean, we'll see. But again, it still cuts to if that's her thing, hey, all power to her. But it also brings me back to what Scoot was saying before, where he said that they're bringing all these women in. So that's the only verse I can think of, because judging by how the show went off with all the women kind of piled up, I only saw, I guess, those potential women that was going to be in like the next class of NXT. But we'll get to that after this match, which was the main event, which was the Battle Royal, the qualifying Battle Royal for the contenders for the North American Championship Gauntlet match for Stand and Deliver.
This was a weird match with weird rules.
It was.
The fact that it took two people to describe this match and tell what was happening.
Yeah,
whatever.
This it threw me off. It threw me off in the beginning, because since we had that match with Strong and Grimes in the very beginning, I was like, wait a minute, is this the beginning of the Gauntlet match, or is this the beginning of the Battle Royal? But then I was like, it just threw me off completely. And then when it says going to be the main event, I was like, oh, okay, I got it. So the initial match itself was supposed to be a 12-man, but since Roddy had left, it dropped it down to an 11-man Battle Royal. So
right.
With this, you had basically to go through as far as like for the eliminations, you had Jake Atlas eliminated first. And then from that, I think you had Austin Theory, who got eliminated, but he fell on his back with his feet up. And he kept trying to say that he was eliminated. Then his dumb ass decided to kip up and then eliminate himself right then and there, which I thought was hilarious.
He's the ultimate purveyor of bad ideas.
Yeah, and I love his character because he makes that like dumb jock shit look hilarious.
No, he's 100% a WWE's. What do they call it? They have a name for it. Himbo, like a bimbo, but a himbo.
I love it, and I'm glad he's there. Which he's going to win.
He plays that He plays that meathead gimmick a little too well.
He does,
Right.
and I love it. And he makes so much sense to be paired with Johnny. It works so well. So good on them for that. But Theory essentially eliminates himself. And then from that, you have Kushida and Pete Dunne go at it and then eliminate themselves going over the top rope and then still going
Right.
at it even after they got eliminated, which of course we already knew at that point after they had their face-to-face earlier throughout the night that this was going to be that match. Because we talked about it last week when we predicted kind of like, well, whoever Pete Dunne is going to go against, they're going to like Pete Dunne is already eliminated because he's going to have that match at Send and Deliver with whoever steps up. And
Right.
granted, it was somewhat anticlimactic with the way that they kind of set it up between him and Kushida, because to me, again, it goes back to the same song and dance with Kushida. It's another match that I feel like he's going to win when it matters. I mean, he's going to lose when it matters. And that sucks because Pete Dunne is the person that needs to go over because he has to continue to look strong. And Kushida is just basically being another sacrificial lamb in a sense. So
I hate that they're doing that to him.
I hate it too. I really do, because this is where you could slot him in any other situation, but you keep putting him with people that need to fucking go over, which fucking sucks.
They're gonna make him the next Andrade if they keep this up. Like he's just
and they're probably paying him enough to where he just doesn't give a shit.
Right? Like maybe that's the difference, is that he just might not give a shit.
But I mean, hey, it is what it is. But
Yeah.
this at this point, this is where we were at the well, I think Russ got eliminated during that time too, as well. Tyler Russ at some point. But this kind of left us at our final six, which was Bronson Reed, Ruff, Swerve, Grimes,
Loomis.
LA Knight, and Loomis. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from that point, Bronson Reed threw out both Ruff and Swerve. So that means Ruff is going to be the first.
Shouts out to Loomis doing like the least amount of work though.
Yeah, matter of fact, he earned his paycheck last night.
He encapsulated his gimmick perfectly.
Not earned. He weaseled his way into his paycheck because he literally just stood there and did nothing for his paycheck until like the very end. Because during this time, Dexter Loomis was just in the corner watching everything go by, and I'm glad that they did this like this because it fed into Loomis's character. Like, hey, nobody wants to fuck with him. Yep. Perfect way to do that. So after Bronson threw out both Ruff and Swerve, that made Ruff the first entrant into the gauntlet and Swerve the second. Then Bronson Reed got eliminated, and then you had Cameron Grimes sit there and pull out a stack of cash and was basically trying to coerce LA Knight and Loomis to eliminate themselves. And LA Knight was talking to Loomis like, yo, it's a good idea. It's not a bad idea. We should do it. And Loomis says, fuck that. And so him and LA Knight eliminate Grimes. And then you have LA Knight and Loomis going at it to the point where they both go over the top, but are on the apron. And then LA Knight goes to the second rope after they get back in. And then he ends up pulling down Loomis over the top rope, or off the apron rather, and then winning the match. So LA Knight looking strong in this. Loomis just being somewhat outsmarted by the heel, not a problem. And then from that, which they didn't let up on anything, they went from the end of one match as Johnny and LA Knight were talking to each other. They went from that to Io coming out from the back, pissed off as all hell, grabbing the mic and speaking Japanese to Raquel. The only English word she said was Raquel. And then from that point, she called out Raquel. Raquel came out and they went to start brawling again. And then when they said that the whole locker room cleared out was the problem because it wasn't a whole locker room. It was basically all your upstarts from, I guess, the new class of NXT.
Oh, yeah, it was all the new recruits.
Yeah, outside of Dakota Kai. And so from that point, you had EO jump on everybody, and that kind of ended off the show. But basically, you had the women go throughout the whole night just brawling with each other and then ending off the show to basically set up night one, which I loved. And that was good. That shows the faith that you have in your women's division and how much you care about them actually main eventing the show. Now, granted, that's not to say that main roster can't do that. I just have a feeling that they won't do that. But
no, they're. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, we mentioned it before. They're so far.
Yeah,
the main roster is so far gone, and that's why NXT is such a stark difference. Because how was NXT able to build Stand and Deliver in a month and make this the most watched stuff, but WrestleMania, which is your biggest show of the year,
crazy.
You're making it look like it's just another show almost.
Yeah.
Everything that's happening on Stand and Deliver seems major. It seems like they're fighting for something.
And that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's lunacy to think that the quote unquote developmental is doing a go home show and a build better than the main roster.
True. But with that beautiful show that they're building, let's go through and give our predictions on both night 1 and night 2 of Stand and Deliver, since it is next week and this is the go home show.
Before I forget, Raquel.
I
saw you, girl, exerting all that dominance. I see you, girl.
Shouts out to Raquel. She's earning her paycheck and her potential championship win at Stand and Deliver. So with night 1, we have Pete Dunne versus Kushida. Who goes over?
Kind of like y'all said, I think it's gonna be done. I'll be surprised if Kushida wins. That would probably be the shocker of the night if Kushida wins. So done, unfortunately.
I agree. Jaeger?
Let's see here. I gotta go with Dunn as well, even though I definitely want Kushida to be the winner.
Yep. So all in agreement on that one. Now this one, and we didn't talk about Ciampa's promo that he had during NXT, which fire promo.
Yeah.
I swear,
his chest is gonna be so red.
I know, right?
I
hope he's ready.
Just
anyway.
I
hope he's ready.
I don't know. I mean,
I'm just gonna say right now, if he wins, he's not walking out. Like, I honestly want him to win though, but I know he won't.
Yeah, I'm with it too. Like I can see him winning, but the reason I don't see him winning is because of the X Factor, the Dark Horse, and all this. And that's Timothy Thatcher. He hasn't been shown on TV for weeks, so that's pretty much a MacGuffin to be like, yo, this is going to cost you the win. You're not winning this title because Timothy Thatcher. That's the only way that I see Ciampa losing, but I think it's going to be a good match. It could potentially be the match of the night, especially judging from my preconceived notion with him and Thatcher, with Thatcher and Ciampa's match. That was a sleeper hit for me. I think it was War Games. That's what it was. And I have a feeling that him and Walter are going to just tear it down completely. So this is my potential match of the night. So yeah, but I say that Walter goes over thanks to interference or whatever by Timothy Thatcher.
Yeah. Thatcher officially joins Imperium.
Yeah. So next up is the 6-man gauntlet eliminator match for the North American Championship, or rather for the number one contendership for the North American Championship, and that's including like
once again. I think this match was set up for Loomis to take it.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Loomis with an honorary second pick. No, you know what? No, because LA Knight, they're not gonna have a heel go against another heel like that. I said, yeah, I'm Loomis all the way. Loomis, if not Loomis, then Bronson Reed.
Okay,
but definitely Loomis.
LA Knight. I kind of want it. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. LA Knight.
Okay. Now, this one I already know what Scoot's gonna say.
With the realistic expectation of Loomis. Right. Okay. Anyways,
what match we talking here?
This is the triple threat tag team match for the vacant NXT Tag Team Championships. MSK, GYV, and then Legado del Fantasma.
You see the name.
I know you're going with it. And you know what? I would say MSK in this instance. And I do believe that GYV should go over just for the chase of MSK. But, and this is the shocker, even for me too.
Legado del Fantasma?
I think Legado del Fantasma is going to take it.
Whoa!
They the dark horse. They my dark horse in this. Like I mean, GYV is my pick. But I could like I said, like I said last week, I could see a case for all three teams.
True.
I was going to say, guys,
I personally want GYV, but I can see Legado del Fantasma taking it.
Yeah. What you got, Jaeger?
I'm sorry, guys, but I can't go with either one of y'all. I got to go with MSK.
Oh, we got a 3-way split on this one.
We got a 3-way split. Okay.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right.
I mean, I can see it going to GYV, but I honestly don't. I see Legado del Fantasma as the guys to take the pins.
Okay.
So
I would say this: if MSK would have got their one-on-one with Birch and Lorcan, I would have went MSK all day. But due to the fact that it's triple threat nature, GYV.
See, but that's where I'm thinking on is that even if like Birch and Lorcan weren't here, let's see here. I mean, if they were here, we would have had a triple. I'm thinking still triple threat with GYV and MSK. Yeah. I'm still thinking MSK takes that with Birch and Lorcan taking the pin.
Okay.
But that could just be me, like, still high on the Dusty Classic about it.
All right, so hey, we got a 3-way split. Okay.
Now for the main event of night one.
There's no asking the questions on this one.
I know there isn't, because I personally am in the Raquel camp. I think this is Io's last title defense, and she's going to lose this defense against Raquel because it's the only way to go. I don't see any other. I think this is the rollout into the new chapter into NXT with them bringing in another batch of women, and this is going to set off everything. So yeah, I'm Raquel. Dude, no tell. So we're all. So the only split we have.
You can like
is
put
a
it
tag
on my
match.
face. Face. It's Raquel Gonzalez.
There
Big
we
Mommy
go.
Cool.
So now who? So basically, it all falls in a tag match because we pretty much across the board on who's going to win out of all these for the most part. Oh no, wait.
Jaeger did say LA Knight.
Yeah, he said LA Knight. Yeah, okay.
I did say LA Knight, but I'm expecting Loomis. I mean, I'm gonna call LA Knight, but I mean the real expectations. Yeah.
Okay, for night 2, starts off. This isn't a surprise because I already know what Jaeger's going to say. Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart, defending
Bay.
their NXT Women's Team Championship against the Way.
Shotzi and Ember.
He's going for Jaeger Shotzi's.
Jaeger Shotzi's all night.
Groot, who you got?
I'm going for the Way. No, I'm going for Indy and for Indy. Now I'm going for Ember and Shotzi.
I'm gonna go. See, it's predictable for Ember and Shotzi, but I'm gonna say them too because I feel like this isn't the first. This is gonna be the last match they have. I think the next match they do have against the Way that they will lose because that's the team that they're gonna lose against. Is that's gonna be the Way.
Okay.
So I think, y'all kind of mentioned it earlier, and I couldn't get a chance to chime in, but I think Ember and Shotzi gonna win for the simple fact is Indy didn't sell the tank hit and the missile. she knows so getting hit by a missile.
She gonna load that missile with like more oomph to it.
So yeah, I don't see the belt changing hands 3 times in 1 month.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, 2 times. 3 sets of champions in 1 month.
Yeah,
I don't see that happening. So I think Ember and Shotzi, aka Ember and Jaeger's Bay.
Yeah, there you go. Next up, we got Cole and O'Reilly in an unsanctioned match.
What are they going to be called? Ember Shots or Shotzi Moon? I don't know.
I like Shotzi Moon.
Shotzi Moon, right?
I think I wouldn't be surprised if they just call themselves TCB.
Or that. Mm.
Yeah. Now, this match right here, I am torn because if y'all haven't noticed by now, people out there in the world, I am a sucker for a heel. And Adam Cole, baby, is killing his heel work. Because like y'all mentioned earlier, the Prime Target little segment documentary was fucking phenomenal. But I do think they're gonna let O'Reilly exercise his quote unquote demons. So I do think they're gonna give it to O'Reilly.
Yeah. I do agree with that because I think this is going to unfortunately send Adam Cole off into the sunset into the main roster territory.
Yes.
Because I think he's done everything he needed to do in NXT. So
he's pretty much done for him to do.
So yeah, O'Reilly takes it.
Yeah.
Now, Johnny versus
Loomis or Johnny versus Knight.
Yeah, Loomis or Knight.
All right, so let's say he goes against Knight. Who wins that?
Johnny is losing the belt regardless.
Oh,
I think Johnny's
I like that. Okay, all right, fair enough.
I think it's set up for Johnny to lose because he's going to play into the whole I didn't know who I was fighting until a night before. So I think Johnny loses the belt regardless of who he fights, unless it's Leon Ruff. But I think Johnny loses I think Johnny's going to lose.
Okay, I'm down with that. Okay.
Especially if it's Loomis, Reed, or Knight.
Yeah, I can see that because it makes sense. Because let's just say that any one of them move, they all have a clear path to who they drop the title to. LA Knight, if he wins it, he drops it to Reed. If Reed wins it, he drops it to Knight. If Loomis wins it, he drops it to Grimes.
Yes,
it's as simple.
That sounds about right.
Now the next match, one of my sleeper matches for night 2.
The ladder match. Baby.
Yeah.
I honestly think, personally, Santos could squeak it out. And it's not because he got the Goonies, but I think, okay. So if Legado del Fantasma definitely wins them belts, I think Santos definitely keeps it. So that way the whole Legado are champions.
That was my same sentiment, mainly because there is no other real faction outside of the Way that's in NXT right now. And I think them winning the titles and with Santos having his promo work and talking about how he's like a dominant champ and this, and talking about how they're in a new chapter for Legado del Fantasma, this would make sense. Even if they only hold those titles for a little bit. Just to have that aesthetic of them doing that makes a lot of sense, because then you can have him lose that NXT Cruiserweight Championship and have him step up to go for even more. Because with after this match with Cross and Finn, whoever wins that, it's going to open the door to new challengers. And you already have the North American Championship title picture set with who's out there. So you really don't have many challengers. And since Santos has already gone against Cross and he already had that small feud, this opens the door for him being able to compete for that title as well. So, yeah, surprisingly enough, I'm not finna shit over Santos Escobar and say that he could possibly lose, because I like.
What? Not play.
But yeah, I can see this happening. Jordan Devlin, it would suck for him to lose because of how he kind of just came in and then would be like in and then out. I really don't want him to lose, but I think that he may, because it's just, to me, it's more or less to kind of just set the record straight, like who's the Cruiserweight Championship.
But they don't only set the record straight though, but then it kind of let's really put a spade here. It opens them to make a secondary title in the UK, and Jordan Devlin can possibly be that champion.
I like that.
Let NXT US have the cruiserweight, and NXT UK could have
junior heavyweight or whatever the hell,
or something. Yeah,
I'm down with it.
Works.
So are we all in agreement?
I will say this. If Devlin wins, Santos is probably going after the North American or the world.
Yeah, I think he's gonna contend for the. He'll go for the world.
If he does lose to Devlin.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going with Santos officially.
Yeah. I'm going with Santos as well, because I just don't. I think with Jordan Devlin coming in and it just being still too fresh, like it's almost like they're just setting him up to lose.
Yeah. No, I gotta go with y'all as well.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. Maybe they could apply the reverse and have it be to where Santos gets a new title, like, or they just write Santos off, or they take the cruiserweight title over to the UK. I mean,
well, they could do that.
I could see that too, because I mean,
NXT
really has 3 singles male titles, so yeah. But either way, to go into the meat and potatoes of night 2 and the crescendo, the whole Stand and Deliver pay-per-view.
Yes.
Balor defending the NXT Championship against Karrion Kross. I, for one, have changed my opinion on this, because I was coming in and I said for months that Kross was going to come in, demolish Balor after all the wars he's been in, and take it. But after Balor's promo last week, and after that vignette that Kross had this week, Balor's taking it, and you're going to have Kross and Cole go to the main roster.
Well, you just said something a few minutes ago that makes more sense, Mr. Deasley.
What's that?
It makes more sense for Finn to win, not to make that rhyme, because everybody who might be in contention for the title stylistically will match up better with Finn than Cross. Because think about who's there now.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no shenanigans pulled, who will be Cross right now?
Nobody. Not one person.
But
Bronson Reed may have a chance, but that's still like a no. Because he's beat Bronson Reed.
In Finn's case, there are people there who can beat Finn legitimately without any shenanigans.
It's very true.
But in Cross's case, shenanigans will have to happen.
Yeah, because off the bat, Ciampa, to Gargano, Dunn, who else? Loomis maybe, Grimes maybe, LA Knight possibly.
Now, I will say one thing. I think NXT might do us a slight injustice because we might not ever get to see Karrion Kross versus Walter. But I think Finn retains.
I gotta agree. I think Finn retains as well.
I'm reluctantly agreeing that Finn retains.
Yeah.
But only because it does, like, logistically, it does make more sense. And main roster is going to need an injection of fucking something.
Mm-hmm.
And Cole and Cross leaving, respectively, going to both Raw and SmackDown, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, because, I mean, clearly you're going to put Cross on Raw because you got the big men over there. You got McIntyre, you got Lashley.
You got Strowman. Uh-huh. You got Keith Lee.
And Cole fits perfectly. Cole fits perfectly in SmackDown.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah. I'm with it. So that now, will all our predictions come true?
Probably
Who
not.
knows? But they could swerve us completely, no pun intended. But we'll we'll see. But you guys have any closing thoughts on what we saw this week and what we're gonna see next week?
I got a closing statement for the people out there. Hey, to the land of YouTube, Twitch, all that. The Tag Boys here are letting y'all know that y'all might not get a WrestleMania prediction. Because next week is gonna be pretty busy.
Yeah.
So it might not. So to do y'all one better, these two fellas are gonna come to my casa and we're gonna watch WrestleMania together, and we're gonna do something better than a prediction show. We're gonna give y'all live ass reactions and shit. So if we're in the anger, y'all gonna
see it right then and there.
Y'all gonna get all that. So I think it's fair that we don't do a prediction and we just give y'all live reactions.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Now,
also because we probably also won't get the full card until like 30 minutes before WrestleMania starts.
He's probably right there. I wouldn't be surprised on the kickoff show. Oh, hey, this match has just been added to the card too. So yeah. Now, the review for Stand and Deliver / AEW next week, we got to figure that out too. Because like I said, next week is pretty busy, guys.
Busy fucking week.
So busy fucking week in wrestling.
Well,
I'm repeating for emphasis.
I'm excited for next week. I'm hoping, you know what? I'm saying this officially on the record, 3 hours and 19 minutes in. I'm not hoping for NXT because NXT never fails me with a takeover.
Shame. I mean,
it's WrestleMania.
Shame.
WrestleMania. I'm hoping WrestleMania proves all of us wrong. and WrestleMania turns out to be a banger of a show. But once again, we will know next weekend because you will be seeing our reactions. And you might hear some things.
Oh,
You might be like, wow.
will.
You might be like, wow, we didn't know Jaeger can curse so much. We don't know. We don't know. It might be some interesting things. It might be some interesting things said. It might be some interesting things done. If something's so egregious, we might just cut the feed. You never know.
You might just walk out saying, "I never knew that thing could go in that orifice." But
we just never know what's going to happen. But Stand and Deliver, I think it's going to be a banger of shows. Wednesday night, I'm just wondering, is it going to go over 2 hours? Because that's a lot to pack in for 2 hours, especially with a gauntlet match.
Yeah, but I think they'll do it.
But you know what? I wonder if they're going to do it minimum commercials because it is live streaming on Peacock as well.
Oh, I thought only one of them was streaming on Peacock. Oh, so.
No, but yeah, they was announcing on NXT that night one would be on Peacock and USA at the same time. So I'm wondering, are they going to try to do minimum commercials?
I'm definitely watching on Peacock instead then.
Yeah, I might just watch it on Peacock to see, because of that. But yeah, I expect both shows to be bangers. If I get a chance to watch AEW next week, we'll see. I don't know, but of course, much love to them and whatever they decide to do next week. But
of course.
NXT, let's do it. Hey, Raquel, I will personally make you a video of me probably spazzing the fuck out when you win that belt. And I didn't say if, I said when you win that belt. So you know what? I might personally clip this part myself to let you know, Raquel, you will win that belt. You will be the new NXT Women's Champion.
There you go.
And if you don't win that belt, that'll be the last time I watch NXT. There won't be a night 2 for me.
Oh damn.
Because NXT would be just ruined. So you got this, Raquel. You got this.
Yeah.
That's my closing statement.
You got any closing thoughts, Jager? I'm just gonna be happy to see Bay, keep that belt, at least for now. But Shotzi, if you're in Houston, feel free to hit me up. I really don't have anything else intended for this.
It's all good. I'm gonna go
Mr. Deasley.
I'm gonna go opposite of Scoot's sentiment. I hope WrestleMania is trash. And I hope.
Yikes! Oh, we were talking about WrestleMania too. Oh,
I hope that Stand and Deliver beats out WrestleMania in the ratings, in the viewership. I hope it just surpasses completely because I need WWE to open up their fucking eyes so that way they can see that this shit can be done in the right way. And you're doing it wrong, and you deserve to fail for it.
Not to stretch this out longer, I think what's going to happen if Stand and Deliver outperforms WrestleMania, Vince is about to raid the fuck out of NXT.
Oh, wait, no. Yeah. Okay, I'll take it back. Fuck.
Exactly.
You know he'll do it. He'll do it.
Damn, man.
Vince is going to raid NXT dry.
You can,
it's
Vince,
okay because you can only have female talent.
Control. You can only have
but
crossing.
It's okay because of all the but all the female talent coming in, it's gonna be fine anyway, guys.
That part will be fine.
He getting Cross Code and EO.
Oh shit, he is gonna get EO too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, either way, we'll keep you posted when we do next week because it's going to be a clusterfuck of everything because wrestling's going to be all over the fucking place. We're gonna work it out. I guarantee it.
Yes,
But
we'll figure it out.
what definitely is happening is that live stream for WrestleMania. And
Yes.
I don't look, if you got kids around you, if they're gonna be watching that stream, get them some earplugs, some earmuffs, whatever, because
Some blinders.
they're gonna hate to hear what I have to say, because I'm gonna shit all over WrestleMania if it is trash.
I'm gonna make obscene hand gestures.
Just saying. Just saying.
So
But
YouTube, get ready, baby.
they might demonetize all of this. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But
I'm known to throw out some 4-letter words.
there you go.
And I'm known to string them together pretty nicely.
But before that
Yeah.
live stream happens, before they see us live, period, Scoot, where can they catch all the smoke?
They can catch me with fuckhulkhogan.com. He shouldn't be hosting WrestleMania.net. That's where they can catch me first of all. Still fuckbrucemitchell.org. But yeah, it should be Titus O'Neil and Bailey, since Bailey ain't got shit to do right now. Because they ain't scheduled Bailey. They ain't scheduled Bailey for WrestleMania. So I'm gonna go on a small little rant. If you hadn't been paying attention to the crawl at the bottom, then you shouldn't find me and want to smoke. All I'm saying is, why the fuck is Hulk Hogan now? That's what I got to say. Huh? And you don't have nothing for Bailey? Bailey? But you get old dusty ass Hulk Hogan? Fuck out of here. FOH. That's where they can find me at. Jaeger, where can they find you?
I gotta dig up the email, but I think it's something like, it's like Hemza winning at fuckbrucemitchell.org net. I I always forget which one it is.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll make them both. That way I don't have to worry about it anymore. But yeah. But Hemza winning. If you wanna follow me on the socials, and by all means, if Scoot just like whoops that ass too much when you bring him the smoke, you can talk to me. Tell me how he ruined your day. I'll be like, it's all right, baby. What do you need to worry about? What do you want to talk about? You know what? Yeah, the WWE is okay. They're not stealing NXT talent. You're fine. It's all right.
You know what? To jump ahead after I verbally whoop that ass and you feeling bad about yourself, that man can give you all the positivity you need.
Actually, yeah, why am I even enforcing this? Mr. Lip Dizzle.
Of course. You can find Mr. L. Deasley at your IGs, your Twitters, your Twitch under the same name. Of course, if you need that positivity, like old Scoot says over here, you can always find that at Lifestyle One Up. Also, Instagram, Twitch. Well, not Twitch. Sorry. I keep saying Twitch, but I'm not on Twitch. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok for the inspiration, for the positivity that you don't get from when Scoot brings the smoke. But
Spotify got all them episodes. You can listen to over 10 hours of positivity. I'm going to bring you negativity if you try to bring smoke my way.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, Podbean, so on and so forth. Whatever you think it could be on, it's probably on. Just Google that shit, search it, you'll find it. Lifestyle One Up, all one word.
Because I'm the poison mushroom that takes away the one up.
But as always,
with me if y'all want to.
A nice too sweet with the smoke for my brothers here. And as always, bam, there it is. Bam. And as always, you beautiful mother effers. Whether you loved it, hate it, don't forget to rate it. Comment down below. And as always, mother effing subscribe. But until then, Tag